the away side can break through Chukwueze. He really can open up his stride and drive up this left-hand side. Iwobi collects the pass in field and goes back to Joachim Andersen, and just as Fulham were threatening to flood forward, they've gone back to their back line again and are under heavy pressure from City here and not particularly enjoying that experience, Fulham. They clear it long to Jimenez, chested down to Smith Rowe. He'll loop one, hopefully long, rather aimless ball met by Núñez, and they've lost it, Fulham. And they didn't enjoy the way City were pressing them there, and City will come forward again with Phil Foden, right of centre, Semenyo and Haaland to his left. Back into the middle for Rodri, slowing things down. Núñez joining in from right back, 30 yards from the corner flag, right-hand side. Bernardo Silva back to Núñez, in behind, at the byline to Semenyo, and now Phil Foden sits down the defender, strikes goal with good save, Leno down to his left. First clear-cut chance of the evening thus far fell the way of Phil Foden. Should have done better really. Núñez's cut back from the byline strikes Joachim Andersen, the rebound falls to Phil Foden, and Foden shifts it onto his right boot. Tries to pick his spot in the bottom right, too close to Leno, who can save it with an outstretched left hand. Ruben Dias. Rodri now. Crystal Palace Burnley now underway. Mark Gahey on it for Manchester City, to Rodri. Long diagonal to Núñez, settled midway inside Fulham territory. Back in field to Diaz. Rodri will curl one wide to the left, lovely pace on that pass to Aït-Nouri. He's going to have a run perhaps at Harry Wilson, goes outside of him, checks back in, edge of the 18-yard box is Ryan Aït-Nouri. Gahey, Rodri, the pace of City's play quickening, and Rodri digs into Núñez, brilliant save, Leno again. A right hand comes out to stab it away. Delightful ball from Rodri. Clipped over the top to Núñez, who had strayed off the shoulder of Raúl Jimenez. The striker back defending. Núñez tried to side-footed volley it into the back of the net, looking for the bottom left corner from the right-hand side of the area. Saved by Leno. What a ball from Rodri though. Proof of the quality that still exists in his very capable boots, as he closes in on 500 senior appearances. Delightful strike by Rodri to send it over the top. It's easy to forget that Rodri is just 24 years of age. It's frightening really, isn't it? 500 senior appearances near on. 24 years of age. Joachim Andersen sailing over the head of Harry Wilson. That attempted long ball forward. Manchester City will start again with Mark Gahey thrown backwards to him. He'll find Donnarumma, and out comes Ruben Dias with the ball from the back line. 5 attempts City have had already. Fulham have had just 30% of the ball and nothing in City's third yet. Not even a touch. Rodri. Most one-sided game in the Premier League at the moment, with 19 straight wins for City, and about the most one-sided opening 13 minutes of a game you'll see this season. No goals yet though. Fulham finally get their foot on the ball. Sessegnon. Bassi in his own 18-yard box, back to Leno. Closed down by Erling Haaland, goes wide to Bassi again. Driving out of the penalty area, looking for Sessegnon down the line, straight into touch. City will seize control back, and Fulham will have to build up their confidence again. Ruben Dias on it, a couple of yards shy of the halfway line. Rodri, forward it goes through the lines to Nico O'Reilly. Left-hand side is Ryan Aït-Nouri. He's going to run at Wilson again. He's fancying this matchup, Ryan Aït-Nouri, cutting in from the left, wonderful footwork. Nico O'Reilly takes over in the penalty area. He dances his way past Harry Wilson. Joachim Andersen stretches out a leg, and it deflects into the arms of Leno, who will bowl it out to Sessegnon on the left back. Forward to Chukwueze, looks back for Iwobi. He's given it away. City with numbers forward again. O'Reilly 30 yards out, long distance effort, gets it wrong, and it's curled over the top of the crossbar and away from danger. Tried to wrap his left boot around it, send it towards that top left corner. Pep Guardiola's face tells the story of a very poor effort on goal and quite a promising position after Fulham had given it away cheaply again. Just side-footed, almost hit the valve of the ball and it wobbled wide of the mark. Núñez back to Gianluigi Donnarumma, guided along the edge of the 6-yard box. Mark Gahey can start to stroll out to the canter. Gahey to Rodri. He's bringing it over halfway. Semenyo now, barely had a touch in this game for Manchester City. Ruben Dias, halfway line, waits Rodri again. Floated wide to Matheus Núñez, the right back. Gahey clipped into the feet of O'Reilly. Back to Gahey. Long ball lobbed over the top to Rayan Aït-Nouri, running at Kenny Tete, who has a hold of Aït-Nouri. Still, he grips his shirt. Still, the referee, Paul Tierney, doesn't give anything. City are frustrated at that. An air of inevitability about City at the moment. 15 and a half minutes gone. City 0, Fulham 0, but it is just one-way traffic really, and Fulham quickly need to shake this. Pep Guardiola down below is in the conversation with fourth official Tom Neal, and he's got a good point there, the Catalonian manager, because Aït-Nouri is being held all the way there by Kenny Tete, preventing him from going around him. Here is Tete into Iwobi, starting to explore that deeper role at Fulham's midfield, but Fulham have gone backwards to Leno. He takes no chances and sweeps it long. But long it goes, too long in fact, over Jimenez's head and back to the back line of the citizens and Ruben Dias. Rodri, roared on by this home crowd. Núñez, the right back, loses possession to Sessegnon. Fulham really now is critical they keep this ball for a spell. Sessegnon, Chukwueze, back to Sessegnon. Bassi in his own 18-yard box. Leno sneaks it away to Anderson, closed down by Phil Foden. Motoring through the gears is Anderson to escape Foden. The skipper finds Tete. Tete looks long to Jimenez. It's straight into touch. They made it 4 or 5 passes. They've lost it again. This is rusty. And this is City on it again with Ruben Dias. You can just feel Pep Guardiola's side inching closer and closer to goal. Elsewhere in the top flight, if you're wondering if there's been any goals, there hasn't yet. Aston Villa 0, Brighton 0. City, of course, 0-0 here with Fulham. Nottingham Forest 0, Wolves 0, Crystal Palace 0, Burnley 0. And later on, here on Premier League Live, you've got Kevin Watson and Dave Kitson there, bringing you full coverage of Sunderland versus Liverpool. That's from 8:15 kick-off. Leno rolls his foot over the ball and finds Calvin Bassi. Down the line to Jimenez. Tried to fire it forward. Bassi on it again. Dragged back to Jimenez. Through it goes to the feet of Sander Berge. Given away though by Sessegnon, and Nico O'Reilly prods one through the lines to Bernardo Silva. Bassi says, I've had enough of this. It just drags Fulham forward. Good run from Calvin Bassi. Goes down wanting a free kick. Felt he was tripped, the referee disagreed, and Bernardo Silva picks out a long ball to Haaland, cleared away as far as Foden. Sliding in there was Kenny Tete, just as he needed to make contact on that ball. Jimenez now. Breaks for Joachim Andersen. Kenny Tete out to Harry Wilson. Bernd Leno on it again. 18 and a half minutes gone if you are just joining us. City 0, Fulham 0. This is Premier League Live. Yesterday in the Premier League, Chelsea 2, Leeds 2. Everton 1, Bournemouth 2. Tottenham 1, Newcastle 2. And West Ham 1, Manchester United 1. Everton losing gives Fulham a chance to avenge those points they lost in the race for Europe at the weekend. But it Does seem like an outside hope for Fulham now, not been in Europe since 2012 and not really looked likely. Last season was perhaps their best chance. They were on 39 points at this stage last campaign. This season edged on 35, 4 worse off. But they were 8th and within 3 of Manchester City in 6th this time around. They are 4 behind Liverpool in 6th. In the end, they were still 8th, with just a few games left of the season, but lost 6 of their last 9 to end any slim hopes they had. It was far less open last year, as it is this year. Ruben Dias on it, rolled sideways to Mark Gahey, boots on the halfway line, through to Rodri. Rodri to left of centre where Nico O'Reilly is waiting and spinning. Ruben Dias, casual as he brings it over halfway. Blue and white boots, send it wide to Matheus Nunes. It's a long spell of City possession, this. Now Nunes the right back again. Mark Gahey, left-sided centre-back position, closed down by Smith Rowe. Aït-Nouri whips it into the middle. Bernardo Silva will dribble back towards his own goal before finding Mark Gahey again. Now Phil Foden on the half-turn, can spring City into life. Wind in his sails, Phil Foden. Nunes outside of him, terrible ball. Caught up on this rain-sodden surface. It's intercepted easily by Sessegnon, the left back, and Sessegnon will try and bring Fulham out by playing out the back. Sander Berge, Sessegnon. Forward to Iwobi, given away by Iwobi carelessly, and O'Reilly again from distance, this one better, but still blazed over the top of the crossbar. Left-footed effort from 35 yards, was aiming this time for the top right, striking across the ball with his laces from dead centre, and it rises over the middle of the goal. Calvin Bassett on it again for Fulham. Jimenez goes down on a challenge from Ruben Dias. Nothing doing for the referee Paul Tierney. Haaland tries to chip it forward. That was weak and mistimed. And now Fulham will bring it away with Emil Smith Rowe. Can get over the halfway line momentarily, but it's backwards to Sander Berge. I'll be fascinated to see the statistics on touches Fulham have had in Manchester City's half. It can't be more than a handful. Kenny Tete. Although saying that, City, bar Phil Foden's effort, haven't had much in the way of chances of their own. Jimenez now spinning and laying it off to Chukwueze, left wing. Flag stays down against Samuel Chukwueze. He's going to run at Nunes, instead chops it in field to Harry Wilson. Now Iwobi, 20 yards from goal. Alex Iwobi into the penalty area, left-footed shot, blocked in front of goal, Ruben Dias. Well, it took them long enough. A quarter of the way through this game. It's the first time Fulham have been in City's half, virtually. First time Fulham have been in City's defensive third. Chukwueze guided it to Harry Wilson. He flicked it back to Iwobi, who picked it up 30 yards from goal, dribbled into the penalty area, worked space for a left-footed shot, but Ruben Dias sliding in the 6-yard box, blocks it behind, and it's going to be a Fulham corner kick coming up from the left. Wilson to take the outswinger. This would be the very definition of against the run of play. Now Iwobi instead takes over and takes an in-swinger. Deflects away to Sessegnon. Iwobi, left wing. Harry Wilson collects it. Curls a ball into the penalty area, over the top of everyone. And through to Gianluigi Donnarumma, who can pluck it out the sky with 2 hands and roll it to Nunes. Aït-Nouri now. Unchecked as he brings the ball into Fulham territory, left wing. Rolled back to Mark Gahey, left-sided centre-back. Now Rodri, 40 yards from goal, left of centre. Switches play wide to the right. Nunes crosses in. Haaland's jumping. Loose in front of goal. Semenyo can put it home. Everyone looks for the offside flag. It hasn't come yet. And a goal that has been coming for 23 minutes finally arrives off the boots of Semenyo. He's made a brilliant start to life at Manchester City. His 5th goal in 8 games. The ball crossed in from the right-hand side. Haaland made contact. It fell loose just in the 6-yard box. All Semenyo had to do was stick out a leg and prod it beyond Leno. And Leno couldn't stop the flick forward from Antoine Semenyo inside the 6-yard box, which has made it Manchester City 1, Fulham 0. Good ball in from Núñez, good header down from Haaland, and good instincts from Semenyo to stab it home past the orange shirt of Bernd Leno. Continuing the fine form he left Bournemouth with, that's now 9 goals in his last 14 for the Cherries and the Citizens combined. Not just an instinctive finish. His yellow boots from 4 yards out, meeting the downward header. It never came off Haaland at the end. It was Sander Berge heading inadvertently towards his own goal. Everyone looked for an offside flag that never came up. The very definition of it's been coming. Now Fulham must respond, must open up. The smile broad on Antoine Semenyo as he trots back into position. Some players take a while to adjust to Pep Guardiola's style of play, not him. What a brilliant season Antoine Semenyo is having in the Premier League. Fitting that it came against Fulham, this one. More goals versus Fulham than any club in his career. He's got 6 in his last 4 against them now. Leno at the penalty spot. Sander Berge. Fulham have a throw midway inside their own half. 26 minutes gone if you are just joining us. The scoring has been opened. Antoine Semenyo scoring the goal. And Manchester City have taken right back a hold of possession since. Mark Gahey, the other of those January signings, takes a touch round Jimenez. Lovely flick by Nico O'Reilly, and Ryan Aït-Nouri has space ahead of him. Down the line waits O'Reilly again. Aït-Nouri didn't use him. That's the groans from the home fans you're hearing because of that exact moment. That Bernardo Silva across midfield to Ruben Dias. Down the line, waits Núñez into the channel for Foden. Bassi across on the cover. Foden holds off Bassi brilliantly, using his body well despite the size difference. And Núñez now. Dias on halfway. Mark Gahey into the feet of Rodri. Núñez lets it run to Phil Foden. Núñez, Bernardo Silva right wing, trying to lose the attentions of Sessegnon. Back to Bernardo Silva. Foden driving down the right, collects the through ball. Bernardo Silva again. City just toying with their food at the moment. Fulham chasing shadows. Rodri, Dias, Gahey, the left-sided centre-back, 10 yards inside Fulham territory. Rodri gets his foot under the ball and lobs it wide to Bernardo Silva, who volleys it in field to Phil Foden. Down by the right corner flag. Foden now back to Bernardo Silva. Every City player touched the ball in this sequence, and then eventually a tame ball by Bernardo Silva is intercepted by Sessegnon. He can't keep it in play though. It's going to be a Manchester City throw, which they take quickly and roll back behind the halfway line. The scoring has been opened in another of our Premier League games. Crystal Palace have taken the lead against Burnley. If we get the chance, we'll bring you the goal from that game, which is being watched by Andrew Self. Fulham throw, 10 yards behind the halfway line on the right-hand side. Sessegnon now. Deep inside his own half. Iwobi forward. None of those passes Iwobi has tried first time round the corner have come off, but someone needs to get a hold of him and get him to keep the ball pretty quickly. This time though, He answers me brilliantly with a fantastic through ball, and so too does Jimenez, and there's space for Wilson on the right-hand side. Harry Wilson looking for an equaliser for Fulham, driven towards the corner. Falling down to meet it is Donnarumma, who keeps it out, shoveling it away from his goal. Well, just as I was saying, Iwobi needed to improve his passing. He makes a brilliant ball down the line, carving out space for Jimenez. Jimenez found Smith Rowe, each taking one touch. Smith Rowe helped it through to Harry Wilson, joining in from the right wing. City carved open. Wilson broke into the penalty area. A left-footed shot was saved down to the right by Donnarumma. Here's Chukwueze looking to do exactly the same. City get in the way. Bernardo Silva on it in a right-back position. Núñez trying to carry it forward. Bumping with Jimenez shoulder to shoulder. Haaland opening up, slid into by Joachim Andersen. Advantage played. Semenyo left wing. The freedom of the Etihad to drive into. Antoine Semenyo overlapping O'Reilly. It's a fantastic City goal. If the first was from close range, that is a free-flowing Pep Guardiola special. From back to front in a flash. They picked it up 5 yards from their own byline. And Nico O'Reilly guided it home from the left-hand side of the area into the top right corner. Pep Guardiola's side at their best. The stark opposite of Semenyo's flick home from close range. Manchester City taking it from one side of the pitch to the other. Haaland breaking free over halfway, feeding Antoine Semenyo left-hand side. Semenyo committed the fullback Kenny Tete, then rolled it into O'Reilly's path, and O'Reilly lifted it over Leno and into the top right corner from left of centre in the penalty area. Manchester City 2, Fulham 0. Semenyo with the first, O'Reilly with the second. The breakout academy star of City's season, with his 4th goal of this season. The only other Premier League one came all the way back in the 2nd of November, and Pep Guardiola waves a finger point across the length of the pitch, as is to say, everyone did their job there. All of you played your part in that goal, and they really did. From Bernardo Silva to Matheus Núñez to Erling Haaland to Antoine Semenyo, and finally to Nico O'Reilly, who clipped it over the top of the on-rushing Leno. Joachim Andersen got a yellow card for the cynical foul on Haaland on halfway. And, well, Manchester City well in control at the moment. Long diagonal to Semenyo, headed away by Fulham, but there's no one there to pick up the loose ball. Their midfield is being completely overrun at the moment. Mark Gahey now. Bernardo Silva 10 yards over halfway. Rodri, Núñez. Taking over, finding Calvin Bassey, across to Leno. Leno's giving it away to Rodri. Rodri trying to chip into the penalty area, runs for Nico O'Reilly, on for his second, for City's third, but it dribbles past the post. But City want a handball for an earlier block, and they're making that point to Paul Tierney now. Can see the effort from Rodri as he chips it across the penalty area looking for Semenyo. Andersen leans into it. Did he lean into it with an arm or a shoulder? It's a crazy giveaway by Leno. No word yet of whether VAR are looking at this. Not only could it be trouble for Fulham if it's a penalty, it could be trouble for Joachim Andersen, who's already on a yellow card. It's going to be just a corner for Phil Foden to take. Swung in from the right towards the back post. O'Reilly jumping for it. Nuri on it now. In line with the edge of the 18-yard box, left-hand side, boots on the touchline. Goes backwards to the halfway line, where Núñez waits. Rodri, his shirt tucked in, those high shorts, a very captain-esque look from City's skipper. 34 minutes gone. Still, City 2, Fulham 0. Bernardo Silva fired back to Nunes. Rodri, Diaz. Bernardo Silva on it again. Looking down the line for the run of Matheus Nunes by the corner flag, trying to backheel at Bernardo Silva. Intercepted by Sessegnon, who fires away. Bassi. Sessegnon lifts it forward again. Rodri heads down the line to Nunes. Matheus Nunes, Bernardo Silva. It's wonderful City football again as Cruyff turns it back into the path of Matheus Nunes. Fulham intercept. Wilson tries to send forward. It's blocked by his own teammate, Chukwueze. Smith Rowe brings it down up the sky with snow on it. Tries to dribble away from 3 sky blue shirts. Does so successfully. Here's Sander Berge. Through ball looking for Raul Jimenez. Knew the offside flag would come up. Didn't continue his run. And City intercept. Rodri. Diagonal to Aït-Nouri. O'Reilly now. Gay across midfield to Ruben Diaz. Haaland. Foden. Risky ball, which almost intercepted by Smith Rowe. Backwards to Gay across the face of his own goal. Phil Foden gets away with it. Aït-Nouri picks it up left wing. Gay Rodri. Aït-Nouri. It's a long, metronomic spell of City possession, which is just sucking the life out of them. You're more used to seeing this type of thing with 15 minutes left to go in a game, not 10 to go till half-time. It's going to be a serious test for them, this, mentally as much as anything. When we get the chance, we'll go across to Selhurst Park, where that goal has gone in for Crystal Palace, but still here, with City playing the way they are, they could perhaps fire forward at any moment. We'll keep the play here. We're going to see a VAR check now, in fact. I wonder what this check is for. Not seen too much yet to determine why this is being checked. Kenny Tete has pulled the dreadlocks, or the hair of Antoine Semenyo, perhaps a more fitting way of putting it, and we know that can be given as a red card for serious foul play. But he's clearly pulled Semenyo's hair, but Paul Tierney and the VAR team have deemed it's not worth giving a red card for, so play on it is. Aït-Nouri back to Gay. Into midfield for Rodri. Rodri rolls it behind the halfway line, and bringing it out is Ruben Diaz. Matheus Nunes now right wing, midway inside Fulham territory, closed down by the on-rushing Chukwueze. Diaz guided home to Donnarumma. What a revelation Donnarumma has been for Manchester City, winning the number 1 spot over James Trafford. Not as good with his feet as James Trafford, that's largely acknowledged, but his frame and his shot stopping goes a long way in allowing him to be City's number 1. Sent long by Rodri towards Semenyo. He's managed to bring it down, tried to tee up O'Reilly, driven away by Wilson, intercepted again by Gay. Good ball forward to Foden. Foden driving at the Fulham goal, tries to find Antoine Semenyo. It's a terrible pass by Phil Foden. Well, despite how well City are playing, he's really not himself, Phil Foden. A few times, golden opportunities to slip a teammate in, and he can't find the right weight on the ball. Perhaps the sheer level and amount of the rain that's lashed down here is playing its part in that. And that's an easy ball, a simple ball for Semenyo to take one touch and score City's third, and Foden overhits it. It's out behind for a Leno goal kick, which has been taken short. Gay heads it away. Fulham cannot get a foot on the ball at the moment. I mean, it really is as one-sided as you will see. Aït-Nouri down the line for Foden. This time does find Haaland. Right way to pass. Haaland's finish. 3-0. They have blitzed Fulham. They've battered them from pillar to post. And 38.5 minutes gone. It's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. How that man has needed that goal. 8 Premier League games without an open play finish. And Erling Haaland strikes from the edge of the area into the bottom right. A ruthless left-footed finish, arrowed home. City 3, Fulham 0. That might just be good night, and there's barely even 40 minutes played. Erling Haaland has number 29 of the season. You wouldn't know he's brutally out of form. Ait-Nouri found Phil Foden. Foden took a touch. The perfect weight of pass into Erling Haaland, who got it out his feet, stood up Calvin Bassey, rolled it past the Nigerian, squeezed it between his legs from just left of centre, 18 yards out, and found the side netting in the bottom right of Leno's goal. Fulham are among his favourite opponents. His 11th goal involvement in 7. Now has 8 in 8 versus the Cottagers. And what a magnificent finish it was. Longest run of his City career without an open play goal comes to an end. And Haaland has made it. Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Looks like it's going to be 20 meetings with City without win for Fulham. And the Premier League and the English football rather, his greatest run of one side against another is looking to continue here. Harry Wilson, Foden, Gahey, backwards to Ruben Dias. They are purring City. This is a message, make no mistake, to Arsenal that play tomorrow. Offside flag up against Chukwueze on the left-hand side. Well, if you're wondering how it's played out in the stats, City have had 11 shots already, 4 on target. We've had 15 touches in Fulham's box, 63% possession. It is a clinic at the moment. Almost 300 passes to Fulham's 175. Iwobi, 15 yards shy of the halfway line, left-hand side, lovely ball over the top, which will bounce out to Harry Wilson. Gahey heads it away, Wilson collects, Wilson in behind, Jimenez to square to Smith Rowe. It should be 3-1. Well, they've barely been an active participant in this game, Fulham, but that is a golden chance to pull one back. It was sprayed long over the top. Gahey's defensive header wasn't a good one. It found Harry Wilson. Wilson rolled it in behind for Jimenez, who tried to be unselfish and roll it along the edge of the 6-yard box. So Smith Rowe could have a tap, and he would have been far better off trying to lift that over Donnarumma Jimenez from just 7 yards out. Smith Rowe couldn't catch up to it, and City still have that 3-goal advantage. Iwobi now. Berge, Anderson, O'Reilly could take over in the centre circle, foul from behind. Sander Berge brings O'Reilly down. Ait-Nouri. Rodri. Haaland on it, back to the halfway line for Mark Gahey. Rodri. O'Reilly just outside the centre circle. Here's Ruben Dias. 2.5 minutes left to go in the first half. Still haven't had the chance to bring you the goals as they've been going in. Phil Foden left of centre. Núñez down the line. Foden will drive alone into the penalty area to make it 4. Strikes the hand of Calvin Bassey. City won a penalty. Referee Paul Tierney unmoved, did strike another Fulham player first. Anderson, a wicked deflection before it hit Bassey, but Haaland's still got a chance here. Rodri chipped back to Erling Haaland, and getting in the way is Sessegnon. Gobbled up by Bernd Leno. Well, Phil Foden striking goalward. It hits the toes of Anderson and hits Calvin Bassey, who knew nothing about it. That would have been harsh. Kenny Tete down the line. Jimenez. Phil Foden. into the path of Nico O'Reilly, left wing, intercepted by Emil Smith-Rowe. Tete chipping down from a right-back position. Smith-Rowe takes over, trying to switch play to Chukwueze, gets underneath it. Nunes clears away, but only as far as Wilson. Wilson at the edge of the edge of the centre circle, in City territory. Iwobi, whipped wide, chested down by Emil Smith-Rowe. Joachim Andersen to Tete. Chukwueze. Now Iwobi down the line to Emil Smith-Rowe, who can try and chip it in from the right-hand side. Backwards it goes. Tete crosses. Jimenez rises. And it's straight into the arms of Donnarumma. 2 minutes left to play in stoppage time at the end of this one. Donnarumma tries to get it long to Semenyo early. Straight into touch, and Marco Silva ruefully rubs his chin. It has been a really desperate first half. Chukwueze, though, maybe could change that for Fulham as he lifts one goalwards. 20 yards out from the edge of the D. Harmless effort, but worth a go from Samuel Chukwueze, who looked very bright in the first half against Everton at the weekend. Half-time can't come soon enough. It's interesting that Kenny Tete was not penalised for pulling the hair of Antoine Semenyo. We've seen that pretty much given as a blanket red card since it was introduced as a measure. Really gave it a good yank. He yanked Semenyo into Jimenez. Long from Donnarumma. Well won by Iwobi. Shrugged Haaland off the ball. But fouled this Jimenez. And Fulham will have a free kick 5 yards over the halfway. A few fans heading for early refreshments. 5 seconds left to go in the first minute of added time. Another minute after that, so 46 minutes on the clock. Harry Wilson with his black headband, tucking back his sopping wet hair. Gets his foot through the ball and switches play to Joachim Andersen. He'll let it run for Chukwueze left wing. Heavy touch. Tries to cross, my word. If ever there was a cross that summed up a first half for Fulham. He's tried to swing it in. It's not under particularly difficult conditions. He's not under too much pressure. He's got space to curl it in, left-footed. And he just hacks it wildly into the stand behind the goal. Early on by Antoine.
He's a player that cost an enormous amount of money.
I was expecting that to go straight into the box and tried to play one down the side. This throw-in's gone short again.
And they're mixing it up here, Sunderland's just trying to get in Liverpool's heads. It's back with the goalkeeper Robin Roofs. What a revelation he's been since coming in from Dutch football, signed from NEC Nijmegen. And he's been one of the Premier League's best goalkeepers this term. Regis Lebris, the coach of Sunderland, has talked about how impressive he's been despite having very little experience. It's with Gakpo for Liverpool, plays it to the left, and Robertson. Angle ball into the path of Alexis McAllister, Liverpool's number 10. He's had a tough season, I would say. Looked a bit fatigued at times, not hitting the levels he was capable of in winning the title last season. But he's not alone in that for Liverpool. And of course, it's been a very draining campaign on and off the pitch. Here is McAllister again, a World Cup winner with Argentina. Clips it like a golf shot into the path of Mo Salah. Salah with the control. Again, the Sunderland fans shout for handball. It's played to Gravenberg, right edge of the penalty area. Endo, back to Gravenberg. Works it to McAllister. Curling ball into the area, punched away by Roofs. It's going to come as far as McAllister, and he goes all the way back to halfway and finds Konate. Ibrahim Konate, just inside his own half for Liverpool, and he clips it long, looking for Salah. Bounces the way of Reynildo, gets there ahead of the Egyptian, but Salah's won it back. Liverpool having a decent spell here, having been rocked back early on. Wataru Endo playing out of position tonight at right back. He is, of course, a defensive midfielder by trades, but you get the feeling pretty much everyone apart from Alisson's played right back for Liverpool this season. Without Dominic Szoboszlai suspended, no Conor Bradley injured for the rest of the season, no Jeremy Frimpong also on the sidelines.
Well, I thought that match-up between Brobby and Van Dijk would be interesting, and Brobby left one on Van Dijk, and Van Dijk kicked out at him afterwards, which is what the roar was all about from the fans.
Here's Wirtz, right edge of the penalty area. His cross smuggled behind for a Liverpool corner.
Decent reply, actually, from Liverpool, because it was a strong start from Sunderland. Got the fans. I love the atmosphere here. The atmosphere of the stadium is it's just incredible. And it doesn't matter who comes to town, they're up for it. But it is a decent reply from Liverpool.
Burnley have pulled a goal back by the way at Crystal Palace. It's now Palace 2, Burnley 1. Villa 0, Brighton 0, Forest 0, Wolves 0, Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Corner to Liverpool, 0-0 in this one here on Premier League Live, 7th minute. Mo Salah with his hands on his hips, ready to take. He's got a gaggle of players near the penalty spot. Goes to the edge of the 6-yard box, easily headed clear by Ballard, who is as good as it gets in the air when it comes to the Premier League. He has been outstanding this season. Sunderland made more aerial clearances than any other team. Ball played towards Van Dijk, though, second phase, and he flicked it towards Gakpo, but the ball runs harmlessly through to Robin Roofs. And just on that point about Dan Ballard, how good has he been this season?
Well, I tell you what, the first header was meat and drink. The second one he's stretching, and it's a really important one because Gakpo's right off the back of him. He has to get there, but yeah, he's one of those, isn't he? It's just, you can build a team around that. At times he's been one man back there.
Regis Lebris has said, I'm not sure Dan knows how strong he is.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Said quite often we need to put a bit more belief and confidence into him because he is doing really well. He's a key part of our team. He was a key part of the team last season. It was his dramatic header against Coventry in the playoff semi-finals that kept that dream alive for them. Long ball towards Brian Brobby, and it just skims off the wet surface all the way through to Alisson. 8th minute here on Premier League Live. Sunderland 0, Liverpool 0. Sunderland are on a run of 2 wins in 9 in the league, but they don't lose many, and they did win their last home match, a 3-0 success against Burnley. Here's Gakpo, chests it down just shy of halfway, forward towards the bleach blonde Hugo Ekitike, but it's played out of play by Alderete for a Liverpool throw. Ekitike, who has 3 goals in his last 3 appearances. He's got 15 in all in his first season in English football. McAllister out to Konate, inside right channel for Liverpool, 10 yards inside the Sunderland half. Great noise around the stadium as the rain teems down in the northeast. Here is McAllister, plays it to his left, and Robertson, the captain of Scotland, looking forward to the World Cup in the summer. Here's Gakpo in off the left touchline, curling ball into the box, headed away by Reynildo, and then the follow-up from Konate was rather ambitious, the shot from range, and it goes high and wide.
Yeah, Liverpool have got a lot of decent play in and around, but it's when they come to play that final ball, at the minute they're restricted to sort of hopeful crosses, because I look at Ekitike, obviously I mentioned I'm looking to see teams playing into the striker, and every time I look at Ekitike, either Ballard or Alderete are glued to him. They're not giving him any they're giving him a lot of respect, put it that way.
You thinking as a striker, how would I deal with this?
Yeah.
I'm going to get away from these two. Here is Robertson. He was trying to thread the needle for Ekitike, and Roof's able to come out and get it. Sunderland drew the reverse fixture 1-1 at Anfield and nearly won that game. It was only a brilliant goal line clearance from Federico Chiesa late on that kept Liverpool level with Sunderland in that game. Here is Konate midway inside his own half. Still no sign of whether he'll sign a new contract. He's out of contract in the summer. And now Alisson, who's making his 250th Premier League appearance tonight. A man who's kept 101 clean sheets in the first 249. Phenomenal record. Long ball from Alisson that skipped through the Sunderland rearguard, but Roof's able to clear. Endo wins the header against Angulo, the recent signing. Early cross from Gravenberg. He was looking for Mo Salah, and then Lefay doing some good work back in his own left-back zone finds Roofs, and it's been one of the real signs of this Sunderland team, their willingness to work without the ball as a team. It's not just about the defenders. Here is Wirtz for Liverpool though, picking up the pieces in midfield. He turns away from a couple of challenges, now approaches the right corner of the penalty area. Back to Gravenberg. McAllister across to Robertson. Inside left channel, midway inside the Sunderland half. Gakpo, he'll run at Mukiele, in on his right foot. Plays it across to Gravenberg. First time ball is blocked. Liverpool with good possession, but at the moment not finding the penetration to go with it. Here is the languid Frenchman, Ekitike, comes in on his right foot, into the area, wants a corner, doesn't get one. It's going to be a goal kick. I can tell you that Burnley, by the way, have equalised. We could bring you details of that goal. Crystal Palace against Burnley.
Pogačuku gets away from Gesson. Gesson's pulling him back, plays it out to Anthony. Anthony up to the edge of the box, into the box, fires a shot in. It's 2-2, Jadon Anthony, 44th minute of the game.
So just before half-time, an equaliser for Burnley. And I can tell you, actually, there's been another goal at Selhurst Park. Burnley were 2-0 down in that game. They've turned it all the way around to lead 3-2 just before half-time. We'll try and give you details of that in just a moment. There's been a clash of heads here, it looks as though, between Brobbey and Konate. Konate just wincing, being helped to his feet by Virgil van Dijk, and once again Brobbey and Konate tangling, a clash of heads, and might not be the last one we see between those two tonight.
No, it started off a bit lively. I mentioned Brobbey left one on Van Dijk very, very early on. It's a really interesting matchup, that. And as I say, actually, just speaking of Burnley, I did the game with Sunderland-Burnley, and they just couldn't handle him. I mean, that night Burnley could have played for 100 years and not scored. I never, ever could have predicted that they'd go 2-0 down to Palace and be winning 3-2.
Yeah, where has that come from? And that could be a really damaging result for Palace. That game was delayed, by the way, because of local traffic, so they haven't actually finished that first half yet. Liverpool with a throw here, level with the edge of the penalty area on the near side the left. Robertson into the instep of Wirtz. Wirtz gets it back, the German international player with so much potential, still only 22. He's packed a lot into a short career. Played forward by Konate inside right channel, and Reinildo decided to take a touch ahead of his goalkeeper and was very calm in clearing it, did really well. Didn't want to prevaricate or delay. And now it's with Lefay tight to the touchline. Lovely skill to take him away from Gravenberg. Angulo runs into Konate. It's being played at a good pace, this, at the Stadium of Light. 0-0 on Premier League Live between Sunderland and Liverpool. 14th minute. Liverpool only 3 points ahead of Sunderland at the start of play. Liverpool looking to close the gap between themselves and the likes of Chelsea and Manchester United. Played all the way back to Roofs. If you go back to the start of last season, since then Sunderland have lost just 4 of 35 home league games. It is a phenomenal record.
Seriously impressive stuff.
Loose touch by Mukiele down that right-hand side, and all the more impressive when you think they rebuilt half the squads in the summer. They've spent incredibly wisely, brought in some experience, brought in some young players to develop. It's been a great mix, and Régis Lebris, the coach, did say they've been very efficient, the recruitment team. He said you realise as a coach that with players you need to develop them, and sometimes you've got to ride the wave. He said if they have a few bad games, you can't just ditch them and switch to a different player. It's all about building their confidence, supporting them. He said we can't just go and spend 60 million on one player like the big clubs can, so you have to give players time.
Yeah, it's refreshing. It's refreshing to hear, you know. It's there are teams obviously who will try and buy the very best thing that they can in that position. Sunderland aren't in that position, and it's not, you know, I say it quite often to manage whatever happened to coaching.
Yeah,
you know,
that's it. Has to be a long-term view, and that's very much been the case with Sunderland's. Of course, we've seen that with the likes of Brighton and Bournemouth and Brentford's developed players incredibly well in recent seasons. Sunderland looking to do the same. But you've got to keep moving as well. You can't just be a development school. And they've managed to balance that very well indeed. Here is Ballard, inside right channel, the big number 5 for Sunderland. Quarter of an hour gone in the northeast. A wet night in the north. It's pretty much wet everywhere in the UK at the moment, and has been since the start of the year. Long ball by Sunderland, shepherded out by Robertson, and that's going to be a goal kick.
Yeah, it's pretty comfortable, I would say, actually, apart from the first couple of minutes where Sunderland had some long throws that they elected not to put in the box. And look for all the world that they would. Maybe they wish they had now, because they've had precious little since then.
Arne Slot, the Liverpool boss, did say Sunderland a really difficult team to play against, because they can either press high or they can get 11 men behind the ball and defend. They're able to switch between the two, and there is a beauty in that, being able to do both rather than being wedded to one way of playing. Here is Mukiele down the right-hand side for Sunderland. Curling cross, it bounced on the wet surface, headed away well by Endo. He judged that to perfection, but Sunderland have it once again. Here is Alderete, the Paraguayan. What a good signing he's been. Former Getafe player. Just coming over halfway, chased by Ekitike, but chased rather casually by Ekitike, truth be told. Here's Angulo. He is an old school winger, wants to take people on. Nilson Angulo, he's only 22, an Ecuador international, who's just been brought in from the Belgian club Anderlecht. Made his debut against Arsenal. They did lose that game 3-0 at the Emirates at the weekend, Sunderland. But Régis Lebris felt they played better than the scoreline suggested. Here is Angulo chasing the ball down against Endo, but Endo did just enough. Neither team under siege at this stage.
No, I don't mind what Liverpool are doing going forward as well. Trying to pass it, trying to thread those little passes into the forwards, especially into Wirtz. But to be honest, I said that in the Bournemouth game where they started well and they ended up losing it. So, and I think Slot's alluded to that as well, where they're playing halves of football at the minute rather than sort of whole games.
That was a wild game, similar conditions. They went 2-0 down, they came back to draw 2-2, and at that stage, when it was 2-2, you thought, okay, maybe Liverpool will go on and win it, and actually conceded the winner right at the end. And that's happened to them a few times this season. That goal they conceded against Manchester City to lose that game in stoppage time. It's the 4th time this season they've conceded a stoppage time winner in the league. Here's Angulo coming out of the centre circle, central position. Out to Mukiele, right edge of the penalty area, early cross, looking for Brobby. Brilliant from Konate to get there first, but it's come out to Mukiele again, low ball across, and
finish. clearance. And backwards by Chukwueze. Iwobi dribbling forward. Sander Berge can turn and open up. Chukwueze, Iwobi. There's lots of space for Harry Wilson on the right if Fulham could spot him. Harry Wilson now. Kenny Tete down the line. Fulham 18 yards from the corner flag. Back to Harry Wilson. Left the ball behind, but Emil Smith-Rowe will pounce into the penalty area. Emil Smith-Rowe tries to catch out Donnarumma at the near post. And maybe just tip that around the post. The linesmen are judging that he didn't get a touch. I'll run you over the lineups as and when there's a stoppage in play to do so, but there was one change at the break. It went the way of City. Erling Haaland spared, perhaps saved. Omar Marmoush on as a centre forward. We saw him play behind Haaland in the week. Yes, confirmed that Donnarumma did get a touch, so it's going to be a Fulham corner kick. Deep towards the back post, punched by Donnarumma, hit by Chukwueze. Gets it all wrong, collects his own miss-hit shot. Left-hand side of the penalty area, back to Calvin Bassey. Low-driven effort is cleared. And a foul on Omar Marmoush will allow City to slow things down again. So, two lineups now. For City, it's Marmoush leading the line with Foden on one side, Semenyo on the other. Silva, Rodri and O'Reilly in the middle. Núñez the right back, Aït-Nouri the left back, and the two centre-backs being Diaz and Guéhi in front of Donnarumma. No changes for Fulham, so it's Leno in goal. The back line from right to left, Tete, Anderson, Bassey, Sessegnon. Berge and Iwobi, the two holding midfielders, with Wilson, Smith-Rowe and Chukwueze behind Jimenez, the lone forward up top. Fulham unchanged, City subbing out Haaland and replacing him with Marmoush. And here is Omar Marmoush to Rayan Aït-Nouri. It was a crazy end to the half in South London, where Crystal Palace took a 2-goal advantage and Burnley scored 3 goals right at the tail end of that first half to go in 3-2 up at the break. The other Premier League matches today, pretty quiet. Nottingham Forest 0, Wolves 0, Villa 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Sunderland 0, Liverpool 0. So while others are starved for goals, Andrew Self in South London enjoying himself to the tune of 5. We've had 3 here at the Etihad. City will of course look to add to that and send a real message to Arsenal, who play tomorrow. Sessegnon, the left back for Fulham, tries to play forward, blocked by Antoine Semenyo. So Sessegnon will have a throw. Looking down the line, Iwobi darts to feet, sent to Chukwueze, volleyed back to Sessegnon. Under pressure gives it away to Núñez. Foden in field, Bernardo Silva controls, lovely deft touches with the outside of his studs to bring it down, and now City could settle and perhaps build again. Aït-Nouri, Guéhi, Ruben Diaz stepping round Jimenez, looking for Semenyo. Outside it goes to Núñez. Phil Foden back for Semenyo. Bassey stopped running. Semenyo in the penalty area, attempts to cross. Bassey blocks. It bounces up into the arms of Leno. Comes to nothing in the end. 50 minutes gone. If you are just joining us for the second half of action, it is City 3, Fulham 0. Semenyo, O'Reilly and Haaland the scorers. Sander Berge. Anderson. Now Kenny Tete, the right back. Fulham sweep it from the left-hand side of their back line to the right. Anderson rolls it home to Leno. Closed down by Marmoush. So he finds Iwobi. Iwobi across to Sander Berge. And Sander Berge will thread one through the lines to Emil Smith-Rowe. Helped out to Chukwueze, left wing. He's got to cross early towards Jimenez. Blocked by Mark Guéhi. Phil Foden has to bail Guéhi out. So it's another slightly suspect clearance from the former Palace captain. Fulham have won it high off Núñez. Chukwueze. Now Sander Berge, right-footed, urged to shoot by a optimistic section of the away end. Harry Wilson, right wing. Berge. Anderson now. Chukwueze. Fulham enjoying their longest spell of the game. Kenny Tete. Wilson down the line, up against Aït-Nouri. Back to Kenny Tete. All along midfield it goes to Joachim Andersen, who turns and faces. City go chasing after the ball. Kenny Tete fouled by O'Reilly. And Fulham have a free kick a few steps shy of the halfway line. Well, generally City have been much better in first halves when they've scored 26 and conceded just 7. But after they fell to defeat at Spurs, or fell to a draw at Spurs after taking a 2-goal advantage rather, City actually had the unwanted record of losing as many second halves this season as Burnley, so they tend to struggle a bit more. In minutes 45 to 90, the Citizens, been a bit of a problem for them. Kenny Tete looping one long towards Jimenez, brings it down on the chest, tees up Harry Wilson to run forward right of centre. Now to the number 10, Emil Smith-Rowe. Iwobi in support, joining in from central midfield. Chukwueze will cross from the left-hand side. Jimenez leaping, good contact over the top of the bar, and a judge to have pushed his man in the back anyway. I think it's going to be just a goal kick to Donnarumma. Fulham looking more lively, you can say that at least. Away from home, they've really struggled this season, Fulham. Winning just 3 of their 12 in the Premier League, and all 3 of those came consecutively in games from November to December. Already lost 7 games away from home this season, as many as the entirety of last campaign. Conceded 21 goals in those, so it has been a really poor run. Joachim Andersen into Alex Iwobi. Intercepted by Bernardo Silva. Semenyo goes down wanting a free kick. Nothing given by the referee, so Fulham can play on. Bassi to Sessegnon. Smith-Rowe back to Iwobi. Sander Berge now. Finds Kenny Tete. Emil Smith-Rowe on the half-turn in the number 10 position to an on-rushing Harry Wilson. Intercepted by Aït-Nouri. Jimenez goes chasing. City sees upon it with Rodri. Nico O'Reilly fighting for it with Kenny Tete. And the shorts of O'Reilly being pulled by Tete, was certainly having his physical say in this game. City going to make a change. They've been poor in this second half thus far. And Tijani Reinders is going to come on. Dutch midfielder who hit the ground running to start his Premier League career, but has maybe slowed down slightly since. Rodri tries to launch one wide to the right for Mateus Nunes. It's a gorgeous ball which Nunes sees bounce under his foot and roll out of play. Poor bit of defending. Marmoush gets a foot in on Sander Berge. Kenny Tete is going to look forward for Fulham. Down the line to Smith-Rowe, wanted the 1-2. Smith-Rowe straight into touch. And Manchester City will have a throw. Tijani Reinders is going to come on for Bernardo Silva. Change moments away, so more rest being given to a player that's racked up minutes for City this season. Mateus Nunes, right wing, cutting in from the flank. Back to Bernardo Silva, lets it run for Rodri just over the centre circle. Aït-Nouri hasn't been involved too much from left back. Seems to be lacking the focal point they had in Erling Haaland, so Marmoush will need to grow into involvement in this game if they are to add a 4th or a 5th or maybe even more. And after Nunes let that ball run under his foot, Pep Guardiola's just darted back to the bench, and now Nunes' number is up. So what a harsh world it is playing for the genius, Pep Guardiola. After Rodri's beautiful switch to Nunes, he saw it, completely misjudged it, reached out his left leg, it just bounced under it. And Pep darted back towards the dugout Kolo Touré and has said, tell Kusanov to strip off. So Kusanov's going to come on for Nunes as well. Bernardo Silva now. Rodri Ruben Dias to Mark Gahey, steps over halfway, digs out a long ball towards Semenyo, chested down by Calvin Bassey. Gahey tries to bring it down. It's a terrible giveaway by Gahey though to Smith Rowe, who can release Harry Wilson in behind. Harry Wilson breaking into the penalty area, challenge made by Aït-Nouri, who just makes clean contact enough to avoid the free kick, potential red card, and see the ball back to Donnarumma. Harry Wilson doesn't agree, but Emil Smith Rowe laid it in behind with a through ball, and Aït-Nouri came from behind and just clipped the ball before taking the heels of Wilson as well. Ready to shoot was Harry Wilson. Aït-Nouri makes the challenge, Donnarumma cleans up. Fulham need to make a couple of subs as well. In fact, they're going to make three very needed ones. 57 minutes gone. You're listening to Premier League Live, where the score is City 3, Fulham 0. I'm Drabble, your commentator for this one. Quiet January for Fulham, so don't have a great deal of players to call from the bench in terms of new signings, but former City Academy product Oscar Bob is there. Right now it's Omar Mamouche from Man City cutting into the penalty area, laid back to Phil Foden, dragged towards the corner, brilliant save. Leno leaps to his left, lands on the ball. Difficult stop to make with bodies in front of him. Mamouche broke away left hand side, shifted past Harry Wilson, who was covering Kenny Tete, found Phil Foden, shot was destined for the corner till Leno fell on it. Sander Berge, Ryan Sessegnon curls down the line to no one in particular. So Phil Foden takes over midway inside Fulham territory, 10 yards in from the right wing. Mark Gahey. Backwards turns Aït-Nouri to halfway. Gahey. Foden turning, finding Rodri. Rodri stepping past Raul Jimenez, who nips back in with a challenge. Good challenge at that. And the Mexicans away for Fulham. On the left is Chukwueze, back to Smith Rowe. Now out to Chukwueze, left corner of the penalty area. Sander Berge in space. Fulham go backwards again, much to the angst of their away fans. Kenny Tete marched on. Wilson to Kenny Tete, looping cross to the back of the penalty area. Chukwueze jumping for it. Iwobi collecting the ball left wing, and nibbling in was Mamouche. Iwobi ran out of play, and it's going to be Manchester City throw. Here come the Fulham subs. In fact, the City ones will be made first, so we're going to see Bernardo Silva off for Tijani Reinders. And Kusanov on. For Mateus Nunes. So, double change, Manchester City. Nunes crestfallen as he walks off. See what sort of reaction he gets from Pep Guardiola. Barely even looks at him. Had played pretty well, Nunes. Has been playing pretty well this season. Fulham make their triple change. See Jimenez, Chukwueze and Smith Rowe off. And the returning Rodrigo Muniz on, alongside Kevin. And Josh King by the looks of things as well for Fulham. So Kevin, Josh King, Rodrigo Muniz on, Chukwueze, Jimenez and Smith Rowe off. Let's see what Fulham can conjure with that triple change. They need 3 goals, not just 3 subs. Joachim Andersen, Kenny Tete the right back, looking for Josh King. Turns on halfway, runs for Rodrigo Muniz. Mark Gahey brings it away from the back line. He's fouled from behind by King. City free kick, 10 yards shy of the halfway line. Last time out, Fulham were leading at this stage, were leading until the 75th minute, until throwing it away versus Everton. City were trailing. Goals from Bernardo Silva and Erling Haaland allowed them to turn it round versus Liverpool. When you look at City's upcoming run, looks pretty promising for a real stab at putting pressure on Arsenal in the second half of this season. So, curled forward by Joachim Andersen. Still the score, City 3, Fulham 0. City have been pretty tame in the second half, but haven't needed much more than that. Fulham have grown into the game slightly. Need a whole lot more than that to make a difference. Good ball that into Rodrigo Muniz from the oncoming Kevin. And it's intercepted by Gahey. Kevin will take the throw. Marco Silva not bothering with the hood on his jacket today, and I think that's called pathetic fallacy as the rain lashes down on his forehead and his hair sodden through, as is the rest of his body, looking on at what has been a pretty disappointing performance by his Fulham side. Joachim Andersen, middle of the back line for Fulham, switches play, drives it out to Kevin on the left wing, won first by Kusanov, who is another man enjoying a wonderful season for Manchester City. City go backwards to Donnarumma. Under a bit of pressure here is Mark Gahey. Manages to poke it away to the left by Aït-Nouri. He can start to charge up the flank. Checks back inside and finds Rodri. Mark Gahey again. Across the face of goal to Ruben Dias, who will bring City out from the back. Kusanov. Foden. Pocket of space for Foden here. That normally spells a bit of trouble for the opposition. He'll find Semenyo outside the penalty area. Step over to try and lose Bassi. Bassi wins it back, but Semenyo takes him right back off him. Rodri calls for calm and takes over at the base of the City midfield. Aït-Nouri in line with the left edge of the penalty area, 30 yards from goal. Foden collects it dead centre. Tijani Reinders, Foden, Aït-Nouri and Rodri. They're all at it now for City as the ball zips about the Etihad surface. And they've gone back to Mark Gahey. Fulham forced to retreat deep. Nico O'Reilly now. Gahey on it for Manchester City. Not had a great game, Mark Gahey, in this one. When comparing his arrival and Antoine Semenyo, one of that pair clearly settled a little easier. Gahey, no doubt, will be a top player for Manchester City. Will be a Premier League stalwart for years to come. As Phil Foden, a man who already knows a little bit about that, is driving through the middle for Manchester City. They've got numbers here. One of them's Tijani Reinders. He slows it down when really they needed to quicken the tempo, and Fulham recover. Kusanov out on the right flank. Still City camped in Fulham territory, 15 yards over the halfway line. Foden now. Diaz. Given away by Kusanov, collected though by Rodri. And Rodri will chase his own touch all the way through to Leno, who could gather at the edge of his 6-yard box. Fulham on it again with Kenny Tete, the right back. Iwobi managed to sneak a ball around the pressure of Antoine Semenyo. Sander Berge in midfield will try and release Calvin Bassi up the left. Bassi back heel to Kevin. Kevin all the way home to Leno again, and it almost stuck under the foot of Leno. Had their fair share of calamitous moments today, Fulham. That would have been the pick of the bunch as Kevin fizzes that back to Leno from virtually the halfway line, and Leno had to reach out the left leg to gather it. Leno to Bassi, closed down by Foden, shrugs Foden off the ball. Good strength from Calvin Bassi, and then a theatrical tumble. Foden helps him up, but Bassi not too interested in his apologies as he clutches his hamstring down on the deck. Yellow for Phil Foden. Did actually catch Calvin Bassi really nastily there. I don't think there's any intent. I think Phil Foden's just trying to clip his heels. But unfortunately for Phil Foden, wholly accidentally, he's raked the Achilles of Calvin Bassi there. I wonder if VAR will have a look at that. It is truly accidental. You can see what he's trying to do, just almost clip the heels of Bassi together to bring him down after he broke away from him. But the way his studs are facing up with his ankle hinged to the ground, Phil Foden, he's really caught Bassi there, who has recovered back to his feet. Kenny Tete lets the ball run across him. Tijani Reinders trying to win it back. Tete fouled. They are good at this side of the game, City, as good as they are at the beautiful football. They don't mind the ugly side either. Fulham have broken the press for the first time in some time. Here's Kevin left wing. Checks round Kusanov. On goes Kevin, driven wide. Lands at the chest of Harry Wilson. Wilson looking to cut in from the right flank. Now Tete. Tete into the right edge of the penalty area where Josh King will try and cross. Gahey in the way, Fulham corner kick. So Harry Wilson will march over to take again. Much better from Fulham in the second half, but much better is not enough. So the black away shirts of Fulham make their way into the penalty area. Manchester City, sky blue shirts in the 6-yard box defending. In towards Bassi goes the delivery. He'll have to chase it all the way to the other corner flag on the left. Semenyo was too strong for him. That's no easy task. But a poor clearance from Semenyo allows Bassi to win it back left-hand side. Still Semenyo fights for it. And Manchester City have won the throw. Fantastic strength from Antoine Semenyo. As well as being an incredibly skillful and intelligent footballer, he's an athletic one as well. And he showed Bassi that there. Well, Manchester City 3, Fulham 0, 2 minutes to go till we hit that 70-minute mark. You're listening to Premier League Live. Kusanov. Headed in field by Bassi, given away to Foden. Goes hunting after the ball, Bassi's rolled it into touch. Another City throw, and another couple of City substitutions by the look of things. Shirky and Nico Gonzalez are likely going to see some action in this one. So Phil Foden is going to be coming off for Rayan Shirky. And Nico Gonzalez is going to be coming on for Rodri. Pep Guardiola in conversation with the pair of them now. Swept wide by Iwobi. Lands at the feet of Kevin. He's going to have a run at Kusanov. Goes outside, then back in. Lovely footwork from Kevin. Crossed into the penalty area. Rodrigo Muniz down on the chest. Shot from the angle. Saved by Donnarumma. And cleared away by Tijani Reinders. Semenyo lays it off. Forward from Rodri. It's a terrible pass. Fulham back on it again. They've arguably been the better side in this second half, Fulham, but City have been pretty woeful. Kevin, 1-2 with Josh King. Back to Kevin in the penalty area. Muniz scrapping for the loose ball. Gahey sees him off then. Leno with a goal kick. Well, elsewhere in the Premier League, the scores largely the same. Villa, Brighton, still 0-0. Nottingham Forest, Wolves, still 0-0. Liverpool against Sunderland, still 0-0. And it's Crystal Palace 2, Burnley 3. Gianluigi Donnarumma. Cross to Mark Gahey. Gahey. Marmouche fouled. Tete coming through the back of him. We're going to see those substitutions take place now. So Rodri's continued return from fitness is a very successful one. Held down the midfield well. He's replaced by Nico Gonzalez. And on comes Nico Gonzalez for Manchester City, for Rodri, who's got a standing ovation from the Etihad. And Rayan Shirky is on as well. Really good form at the moment, after missing the first 2 months of his City career with injury. He's got 18 goal involvements and 31 appearances since. He's going to try and add to that tonight, replacing Phil Foden, who did get his assist, the first assist in 15, but the wait for a goal goes on for Phil Foden. 20 minutes left. Double switch City. They've made 5 subs now in 3 windows, so they are done for the evening in terms of substitutions. Kusanov. Mark Gahey. Rayan Aït-Nouri looking down the line past Wilson. Careless foul by Wilson, but play on, says the referee, and Semenyo is running with Bassi again. This time Bassi wins the battle of the shoulder to shoulder. Sander Berge loses out though to a good challenge from Tijani Reinders, and City through Rayan Cherki will get on the ball again, and hopefully Rayan Cherki can just inject a bit more imagination into a second half which has lacked it somewhat. City comfortably seeing this one out, and Fulham struggling, huffing and puffing, but struggling to find a way back in. Now Oscar Bobb's going to come on for Fulham. This will be a really nice moment for Oscar Bobb against the club where he developed and made a name for himself before injuries ruined his City career. Sold to Fulham in January. Applause from the home and the away end. So Oscar Bobb on, with a smile on his face, lovely to see, applauded by both sets of fans. He comes on to replace Harry Wilson. City got a free kick on the left wing, 10 yards in from the touchline. Tijani Reinders is going to take, in fact he's going to leave it. Rayan Cherki's going to take over. A chance for Rayan Cherki to deliver from just left of centre, about 40 yards from goal all told. Long way out, but a nice position for a right footer to deliver an in-swinger over the top of a defensive back line. Instead it's shoveled sideways to Aït-Nouri, back to Rayan Cherki. Dances in field. Kusanov collects it on halfway, goes back to Gianluigi Donnarumma. Pep Guardiola's furious that his side have taken a free kick in the attacking third and ended up with a ball back at their goalkeeper. Once upon a time that seemed City's way, but O'Reilly will loop it long towards Aït-Nouri, heads it down left wing, runs at Kenny Tete, trying to breeze past him. Tete does well, but has a hold of Aït-Nouri, clearly by an outstretched arm, and the free kick is given eventually against Kenny Tete. Referee Paultini was having none of it. Mark Gahey, left-sided centre-back, rolls down the line to Aït-Nouri. Tijani Reinders. I wonder which of these City players will be looking to play their way in to Pep Guardiola's side in the course of the run-in with Arsenal for the title, which seems like it will be taking place now. Rayan Cherki. Diaz. Now Cherki again on the right flank. Backwards to halfway for Ruben Diaz. They are still strangling Fulham of possession, sucking the oxygen out the away team. We will be wondering, if not for that spell of City dominance, they've just been able to hold out a bit longer, what this game may have looked like for them. It's always likely City's quality would have told, but they've never really been in this from minute one, Fulham. And that must be frustrating for the fans that made the journey. Brave fans, given the history of this fixture, of course. Leno. Loose in midfield for Josh King to take over. Backheeled away from King. He'll collect it and roll it wide to Kevin. Kevin running at Kusanov, poked in field. Oscar Bobb back to Kevin. Loses out. Minutes to play. Still City 3, Fulham 0. Manchester City, of course, have that EFL Cup final to worry about with Arsenal. That could be a big psychological factor in the title race, whichever side wins that game. About a month after that, that game's on 22nd of March, and about a month after that, 18th of April, the two play each other in the league. City won't want the gap to be 6 or 7 points to Arsenal at that stage. They want to be down to 3. Aït-Nouri, left wing, carelessly giving it away, and now here comes Oscar Bobb for Fulham. King outside of him. Josh King cuts in field from the right flank. Iwobi deeper in midfield, 40 yards from the City goal. Tete, the right back, at the edge of the 18-yard box, back to Iwobi. Bassi Joachim Andersen. Down the line by Kenny Tete to Oscar Bob. And Oscar Bob is challenged by Ait Nouri, so it's out for a Fulham throw. Bob just helping Ait Nouri stretch out that hamstring. I'm sure the Fulham fans would appreciate that far more if they weren't 3-0 down. As two old teammates shake hands. Joachim Andersen. Sessegnon points for Kevin where he wants him to move. The two-player neat 1-2. Sessegnon left wing, crossing opportunity, in it goes. Gahey clears away, and I have to say, although in possession, Gahey has made a few errors and a few clearances haven't been the cleanest, he's got in the way of an awful lot. He's like a magnet in the 18-yard box, and if he can refine and clean up some of those clearances away to make sure they go in the right areas and not back into danger, then it would be a real star quality centre back, if he isn't already, of course. England international, Crystal Palace captain, former captain Calvin Bassey loses out to Semenyo. Those two having a pretty interesting tussle at this stage. Here's Rayan Cherki bringing City away, not really going anywhere, Cherki, and then just backheels it off Calvin Bassey to do the best he can, which is win a throw for the home side. Harrison Reed is going to come on for Fulham. The last few minutes of this game, or last 12 rather. Kusanov with the throw, 5 yards over the halfway line, thrown to Mark Gahey. Runs into midfield with the ball glued to his foot, Mark Gahey. Cherki tees up to Charlie Reinders, swivels on it on the half turn. Marmoush to his left, prodded out to the Egyptian Marmoush, pulling into the left-hand channel. Doesn't fancy taking on Tete, he'll be desperate for another goal, Marmoush. Has found a bit of form recently. Cherki. Backwards City go again, contentious to keep the ball. O'Reilly. Ruben Dias. Looking to run alone past Josh King. Kusanov. O'Reilly takes over from Kusanov. It's neatly worked between those two, almost a handoff in rugby to allow O'Reilly to drive forward on the right flank. Still on the ball, Nico O'Reilly. Down he goes. Fulham throw. Bassey. Sander Berge. Across the back line to Kenny Tete. And intercepted by Nico Gonzalez as Tete's ball in field. Good running by Nico Gonzalez, given away by Mark Gahey to Oscar Bob, and Oscar Bob's going to drive goalward, but Mark Gahey atones and breaks away. Wants the ball back from Donnarumma, who gives it straight to Oscar Bob inside the 18-yard box, but he's too close to the byline when he intercepted that Bob, and it's out of play for a Fulham, or rather a Manchester City goal kick. Sander Berge is off, and on comes Harrison Reed, sub number 5 for Fulham as well. Both sides have made their 5 changes. Fulham collect on halfway with Harrison Reed, who scored that goal against Liverpool, that wonderful strike to earn a point. Kenny Tete slides towards Nico Gonzalez. City want a foul, won't get one on the left wing. Kevin has it, looks down the line for Sessegnon. Kusanov away. Calvin Bassey, 15 yards shy of the halfway line, wins it back for Fulham. Semenyo. Now Joachim Andersen, right-sided centre-back. He's trying to get his side going, the skipper, but There has been a limpness about this second half from both sides. City have been just as bad at it. Fulham seem to assume the result was a foregone conclusion, and City seem to think, let's not stretch ourselves too much before a potential big run of games to put pressure on Arsenal. Aït-Nouri, beyond the challenger Bob, goes down, wins a free kick for Manchester City. Nico Gonzalez takes the free kick short, straight to Cherki, back to Gonzalez. Mark Gahey. 1-2 with Donnarumma. And he'll lift it forward, Gahey, into Rayan Cherki, tries to chest it down to a teammate. Doesn't find one. Oscar Bob goes backwards to Harrison Reed, who's seen off it by Omar Marmoush. Good strength from Omar Marmoush to Johnny Reinders. Marmoush again. Oscar Bob wins the ball, and Marmoush is down in a heap. Kevin is going to show his pace to break past Nico Gonzalez, tripped from behind. And it's going to be a yellow card for Gonzalez. And it's going to be a free kick for Fulham. Apologetic hand from Gonzalez. First challenge he's made all day, but it was a clear cynical trip on Kevin. Meanwhile, Marmoush is down, following the slide tackle from Oscar Bob. And that won't be good news for City. Their cover in forward areas. Guardiola distastefully spits to the turf in his dugout at that decision. And he's got a yellow card as well for his protest. He's been very vocal about referees recently, has Pep Guardiola, even by his standards. So Fulham with a free kick, trying to give their away fans something to shout about. Harrison Reed curls one over the top towards the run of Muniz. And Kusanov has the strength and the pace to see Muniz off the ball and see the ball out. And Marco Silva once more buries his head into that rain-sodden black jacket. All smiles in the City dugout. Arsenal, of course, tomorrow play Brentford. 8 o'clock kickoff UK time. A potential banana skin for the Gunners in their quest for the title. Marmoush. Bassi makes a challenge. City will have a throw on the right wing. Fulham win possession back. Kenny Tete, the right back. Chipped up the line. Bob back to Tete. Calvin Bassi motoring forward for Fulham. Kevin ahead of him. Here is Kevin running at Kusanov. Kusanov does have pace, we know that. Kevin goes around the outside to Sessegnon, dragged across goal. Here's Josh King, blocked by Gahey, and out behind, shortly for a Fulham corner. But Josh King believes there he was being held by Gahey. Have a look here. Not a line in it. Another thing Josh King's appealing for is potential handball, but doesn't seem a great deal in that either. It's going to be Fulham corner kick, or no, decision goes City's way. Goal kick City to be taken by the edge of the 6-yard box. Well, only 6 teams have ever won the title with 50 points or fewer after 25 games. That's how City came into this game, on exactly 50. The last team to do it was 23 years ago. And all previous were between 1996 and 2003, when football was perhaps a bit tighter, a bit more competitive. Not really been anyone to do that in the modern era. With Anfield and that comeback, and tonight, City do have the belief again. Haaland saying it's not over till it's over. Gahey saying they have the belief in the side to do it. As Kevin breaks into the penalty area for Fulham, looking for Muniz. Nico Gonzalez volleys away. Cherki underneath it. Sessegnon to Iwobi, blocked by Rayan Cherki. Nico Gonzalez shifts past Harrison Reed. Aït-Nouri. Mark Gahey. Donnarumma has launched one long to Semenyo. He's now playing virtually as a centre forward. He brings it down his chest, Semenyo. Advantage played from Manchester City. Tajani Reinders races towards his manager Pep Guardiola and keeps the ball in play left-hand side. The City again slow to a walking pace. There does seem to be an almost evident, well, forget almost evident, evident mannerisms from City to say we don't want to overexert ourselves in this game. There's plenty of football still to be played this season. So they get the ball in an advanced position, they go backwards, they just keep it around midfield for a spell. Down the line, Rayan Cherki running with Iwobi. Iwobi gets there first and goes home to Leno. Now Josh King. Here's Kevin, runners in field, one of them's Muniz. Gahey sees it away from Donnarumma and away from Muniz and out for a Fulham throw. Good defending from Mark Gahey once more. Strong. Kevin. Sessegnon back to Iwobi. Tete down the line to Oscar Bob. Joachim Andersen to Calvin Bassey. Bassey looking for the feet of Kevin, sliding through was Kusanov. Mentioned it earlier, but his debut was one to forget. £33 million, it was a nightmare against Chelsea. Careless yellow card, gave away a goal, and people were mocking his transfer. Not laughing anymore. An athletic beast and a really intelligent footballer as well. But here's Oscar Bob, right wing for Fulham, running at Mark Gahey into the penalty area, trying to drag it back across goal. Flicks up to the midriff of Mark Gahey. Aït-Nouri could bring it away down the left-hand side. Back with Oscar Bob. Rayan Cherki on it. Dribbling away from Fulham's shirt, giving it away to Kevin. Kevin shoots from distance, and it's way over the crossbar. Donnarumma very much untroubled. Mark Gahey looking rather proud of himself for his second half performance. Much better in the second half from Gahey. Really good. 45 seconds left to play. I can't imagine there'll be any added time. We've had, I guess, 10 substitutions in the second half, but very few of them have had much pause or stoppage about them. There's been no injuries, no goals, no VAR checks, no real talking points. Chested into Marmoush, hits Marmoush's outstretched leg and bounces away. Kenny Tete. Thrown by Tete to Anderson. Leno. Calvin Bassey. Cruyff turn, past Semenyo. Semenyo goes back after the ball and Bassey goes down to win a free kick. 3 minutes of added time coming up from the fourth official. Joachim Andersen. Josh King turning on the ball and finding Oscar Bob. Checks back to the right hand side. Tete behind halfway to Andersen again. Tete. Reed. Aït-Nouri intercepts. Cherki, maybe one more chance for City. Rayan Cherki off and running. Iwobi following him. Marmoush played in with a through ball. He was never even looking for the pass, Marmoush, though. Poor forward play. And I think we're just getting an indicator as to why some of City's starters are City starters at the moment, because the subs haven't really made an impact. Good run this from Ryan Sessegnon, but Kusanov is so quick. He's caught right up to him. Played it off and won the goal kick as well. That is incredible from Kusanov. Sessegnon's a fleet-footed player. Nico O'Reilly's just been given man of the match in the stadium for Manchester City. Has been very good in this one, but I think Mark Gahey might feel hard done by. mostly kept them ticking though. For Marco Silva, it's the story of a solid, improved second half, the likes of which would be competitive against most teams, but not sure against Manchester City or any of the others in the top five. Antoine Semenyo leaping for the ball, it might bounce back into his path. Leno comes out, clears it long, puts his boot through it for Kevin to chase, but Kevin is used to being quicker than most fullback he plays. Kusanov beats him to it, sees it out of play again. A minute left in stoppage time. What will this mean? Will this be psychologically affecting Arsenal? Will they be watching this? Will Mikel Arteta be seeing the comfort at which City have seen this one out? Perhaps Nico Gonzalez back heeled in behind. City players look out on their feet. Josh King, now Kevin. Again he's running at the City goal, into Josh King in the penalty area, good save, Donnarumma. First shot we've had for a good 30 minutes in this game. Josh King swivelling on the ball and just clipping it towards goal, and Donnarumma casually flicks out a hand in truth and lifts it over the crossbar. Did have that Aston Villa goal flying in to give them the lead over Brighton and Hove Albion late. In comes the corner kick for Fulham, bounces out to Oscar Bob, misses his shot, second attempt goes in, Muniz in front of goal, cleared away by Manchester City, and that will do it. 3 goals, 3 points, a clean sheet and a convincing performance. Arsenal, how is your nerve? 3 points the gap now to the league leaders ahead of their game against Brentford tomorrow, and all of a sudden they might start to feel the weight of Pep Guardiola's imperious march. City looking back to their best, and all the pressure on the Gunners. 8 o'clock tomorrow evening against Brentford. It finishes here. Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. We'll send you over to Kevin Hatchard and Dave Kitson for commentary of Sunderland versus Liverpool. I've been Matt Drabble. This is Premier League Live.
Tomorrow night, which will be live for you on Premier League Live. Here's Diarra down the inside left channel, and he finds Angulo wearing number 10, the Ecuadorian. Back it goes to Siddiqui. What a season he's had. Noah Siddiqui, just 21, came in from the Belgian club Union Saint-Gilloise, where he won the Belgian
It's not bad as an idea, but Vert's just not on the same wavelength. He turns it around the corner. If the first had been a bit more alive and on the run, he may well have got on the end of that.
Roofs took his time there. Ekitike moving in to try and win it, and then Roofs has gone down as if he was caught heavily by Ekitike. He waited until the last possible moment there, Roofs. Ekitike tries to win it, he just catches him with the palm of his hands. There's no swing of the arms.
No.
Nothing in that, really.
No, let's just get on with it, can we?
Yeah, I think he's done a good job there, Chris Kavanagh. He's just had a word with Ekitike and said, look, just be a bit more careful. There was no malice in that at all.
No.
It was a little bit naughty of Roofs, to be honest, to go down that easily. We saw a moment with Dan Ballard in the first half where he did that. Went down under very little contact. 7 minutes gone in the second half. Intriguing game in the northeast. The rain is still falling at the Stadium of Light, but it is not raining goals. 0-0 at the moment. Strong challenge by Konate, but the ball runs for Angulo down the left-hand side. Through the challenge of McAllister, who has to get back to him. And McAllister's done brilliantly, actually. He lost the first challenge, won the second, and now wins the free kick. He's had plenty of criticism this season, McAllister. That was much more like him.
Oh, some battling going on there as well. And Bobby, just as Konate tried to backtrack, he stepped right across it, blocked off his path. And McAllister does really, really well, because there's 2 or 3 swarming around him trying to get the ball off him. He shows great strength.
Both of these teams are in FA Cup action at the weekend. Sunderland visit Championship side Oxford. Liverpool at home to Brighton. Brighton, who are losing at Aston Villa 1-0 in the 8th minute of stoppage time that game. Wirtz has played it to Ekitike here for Liverpool on the left wing. Into Gakpo, back to Ekitike. Moving in at his right foot, guns it to Salah. Right edge of the penalty area, tries to turn away from Reinildo, and Reinildo dispossessed him easily, but Salah, to his credit, shows tenacity to win that ball back. Goes on the outside, right-footed cross, that's off Angulo and goes behind for a corner. But there was, again, another of those Salah moments where you're used to seeing him ghost away from a player. It's just not happening.
Yeah, Ronaldo read him. You read him from last week. Just goes to cut inside onto that left foot, and Ronaldo literally just takes it off his foot.
It was like he travelled through time, wasn't it, just to see what he was going to do. 54 on the watch, 0-0. Sunderland-Liverpool, a game that means so much to both. Sunderland only 3 points behind Liverpool. It's not beyond the realms that they could have a charge at Europe in the last few weeks of the season. Here's the Liverpool corner towards the far post, punched away by Roofs. Wirtz will take it up on the left-hand side. His low cross is blocked, and that's going to be a throw to Liverpool on the far side, the left. Wirtz has picked the ball up quickly, wants to take the throw and get on with it, and he does just that. Finds Gakpo. He'll take on Diarra. Gakpo lays it off to Wirtz, back to Gakpo. That's nice. Gakpo jinks inside. Lovely twisting and turning. Back to Robertson, forward to Wirtz. Wirtz trying to play it to Gakpo, still moving Florian Wirtz, low ball into Gravenberg, that was lovely from Wirtz, back to the edge of the area, Wirtz's shot charged down. Great football that from Wirtz, and Gakpo, here's Endo with the left-footed shot, that's blocked. Sunderland defending diligently again, and then as Sunderland look to break out, Van Dijk comes to halfway and just bangs the ball downfield. Endo with a clever header, he's found Salah on the edge of the area, he loses out to Angulo though. The mind is willing for Mo Salah.
Yeah.
The body is not always following.
It's not quite there, is it?
Gravenberg out towards Endo. He's not quick enough to get there, and the ball is shepherded out for a goal kick. But yeah, Mo Salah, it's not. He looks after himself so well physically. Yeah. It's not that, but it's just that little burst that makes the difference, and has done year after year after year.
Yeah.
Which doesn't quite seem to be there.
Yeah, no, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's an Africa Cup of Nations, a system thing or whatever, but what I can see with my own eyes is when the ball comes to him and he's trying to do the thing that's, as you say, served him so well for however many years it is now, it's just not quite there. It's just not as sharp as it was for whatever reason.
Here comes Ballard, striding out from the back imperiously, back to Roofs. Still 0-0, even though Liverpool have carved out a fair few promising positions. Truth is that Roofs had a fine save to make from Wirtz in the first half, and he was beaten when Wirtz struck the far post, but he's not been under siege. He's not had a series of saves to make.
No, I mean, the thing that he's had to deal with on a consistent basis have been the corners, which Liverpool have put every single one of them right under the crossbar, but he's dealt with them.
Robertson into Ekitike, but a good sliding challenge from Ballard. Wins the day, and now it's played through towards Brobby. Edge of the area, taking on Konate. Can he make the space? Brobby, excellent from Konate, just stood him up, and the flag's gone up anyway against Brian Brobby. They just wanted to let that play out so they could make sure it was offside. And it was tight, you know.
It was very tight.
I've got a feeling that had Brobby put that in the far corner, it may well have stood. It was very, very tight. Liverpool have lost it through the centre. And one of the things we have seen actually in this second half, we've seen Trey Hume moving into that central area a bit more.
Yeah, they're trying to overload it a little bit because they're struggling to get out. They need an extra body in there, but to do that you have to be brave and try and play tight football between the lines.
It's the beauty of Trey Hume. We've seen him play a few different positions for Sunderland this season. Villa have won, by the way. They've beaten Brighton by 1-0. Elsewhere, City 3, Fulham 0, Forest 0, Wolves 0, and it's still Palace 2, Burnley 3. Palace were 2-0 up in that game. Could be a damaging defeat. Liverpool have given the ball away to Mukiele. Down the right-hand side, he'll take on Robertson. Mukiele onto his left foot, and the low shot goes wide of the near post. He's not a regular goal scorer, Nordi Mukiele, and he didn't look convincing there. No,
and he should have waited for the overlap because it was arriving, and he just had to play it outside of Robertson, who had an awful body shape, and Sunderland would have been in business. But as I say, these are the sorts of decisions you get when you've been starved of the ball. Start doing things and overplaying and overcomplicating, doing things you wouldn't normally do.
Regis Lebris, the Sunderland boss, did say ahead of the game, we have to be brave, ambitious, try and play on the front foot. But he said when you face a team like Liverpool, it can be tough to prepare because they've got so many players with an X factor that can change a game. Here is one of them, Florian Wirtz. Moves it to Ekitike, left edge of the area, cuts it back. Salah on the left foot, blocked by Sunderland. That looked to be a big chance for Mo Salah, but there's always a Sunderland defender blocking the way. It's a corner, but nothing more than that.
God, I tell you what, it's a great cutback from Ekitike. It takes out 3 Sunderland defenders, and Salah's coming onto it, and you're thinking, well, just waiting for the net to bulge. But he doesn't catch it very well. It's straight down the middle, head high.
It looked as though it might even have been going over, actually. He got right underneath it.
It just expected him to wrap his foot around that in the bottom corner.
Big chance for Mo Salah, which has not been taken, but he will take this corner. We're heading towards the hour mark in the northeast. Salah's corner, flicked on at the near post by Ekitike. It's a Sunderland body and goes behind. It's another Liverpool corner. Had plenty of them tonight, but they still cannot find the opening goal here on Premier League Live.
Every corner that Salah's hit from this side, as he's trying to find somebody at the near post, and they've looked poor because he's under-hit each one of them, but he's got to be right on the money with it because he's trying to hit a real specific target.
Referee just sorting out a bit of pushing and shoving in the penalty area. Won't surprise you to learn that Ballard's involved. He absolutely loves these situations. Here it comes again from Salah towards the far post, flicked on and in! Virgil van Dijk with a captain's goal, the final touch of a Sunderland player, but it seemed to be going in any case, and finally Liverpool have the goal that their pressure surely warrants. It's Sunderland 0, Liverpool 1.
Well, it's bizarre really. I mean, finally Salah gets the ball right, but Van Dijk doesn't really do an awful lot than take a couple of steps forward, stand still. He can't believe he scored. Nobody can. They're all looking as if they're waiting for a whistle or something. Van Dijk gets up, nods it to us. I think it's probably going in goal anyway.
Tabib Diarra on the line. He's ended up heading it up into the roof of the net.
It comes at him so quickly, he can't do anything about him. It comes off his head, but I think it's going in. It's going to be Van Dijk's goal, but it's such a gift. It's so easy. The marking's poor, and everything that Sunderland have withstood has been more difficult than that.
Goal is given to Virgil van Dijk. It's a captain's goal. It's a captain's intervention. It's one that Liverpool sorely needed as they push for Champions League qualification. And Sunderland, who have not lost a home game in the Premier League this season, are behind. But here is Mukiele. down the right-hand side, whips the ball in towards the far post, and Endo has guided it behind and has done himself a mischief in the process of conceding that corner. He seemed to get a boot stuck in the turf as he cleared it. His left boot just seemed to collapse from under him, and that's a painful one for the Japanese player.
Yeah, he's got his studs caught. It's a horrible ball to deal with, and he deals with it brilliantly, but in doing so, he gets his studs on his left boot caught in the turf. His momentum's taken him forward, and it just twists round.
Surely Liverpool's right-back curse has not struck again. Conor Bradley out for the rest of the season. Jeremy Frimpong injured. Dominic Szoboszlai suspended after he was sent off at the weekend. And now Dominic Szoboszlai, that seemed horrible.
Yeah.
So Wataru Endo is just trying to clear it, as Dave Kitson says, just got his legs stuck. He's not moving freely at all. I think they're going to have to keep an eye on this. Here comes the corner from Sunderland towards the far post, headed up but not really away, an overhead kick. It's come for Angulo, who flicks it on. Liverpool clearing, back in by Brobby, flicked on by Angulo. It's all a bit of a mess, the shot's charged down and Liverpool can't bring it clear. Sunderland have it on the edge of the area, right corner, Mukiele under pressure from Wirtz. Liverpool at full stretch here. Here comes the cross from the right, headed away by McAllister and flicked on by Salah. And now it's with Reinildo. High ball into the penalty area, headed away by Gravenberg. Still Sunderland have it. Alderete looking to turn, he finds Diarra, edge of the area, in by Lefay, away by Konate, to the edge of the D, back in by Siddiqui. Now it's with Hugh, out to the right hand side, and Mukiele, roared on by the fans, cross deflected and stabbed behind by Gravenberg, and I don't think Endo can continue here. He's down again, playing through the pain barrier, and I think they're going to have to bring Joe Gomez on, and that's exactly what Liverpool are going to do. And you just hope and pray that Wataru Endo's going to be okay, because he did not look good.
He's not moving very well at all. He actually, that move is still alive, and he's tried to go down several times because he just can't move. I think he's done a little bit of ligament damage in his ankle. He's in a lot of pain. They're going to bring him off. Gomez is going to come on, as you say.
What is it about Liverpool and injuries? What is it about Liverpool and right-backs? And Joe Gomez, who's been in and out of contention all season, and last season as well, really. He's had a horrible time with injury. He's going to come on for what will be only his 12th Premier League appearance of the season. Régis Le Bris hoping that his Sunderland team can maintain their momentum. And we welcome listeners from Premier League Showcase. It is Sunderland 0, Liverpool 1 at the Stadium of Light. The goal scored by Virgil van Dijk just a few minutes ago, but there is concern at the moment for Wataru Endo. Has his hands to his face, he's lying down in a prone position. He's going to have to be stretchered off here. He got his studs of his left foot caught in the turf, and his left leg collapsed from under him, and one hopes this isn't as serious as it first appears for the Japanese player. A hugely popular member of the Liverpool squad, a real warrior, but he looks very, very upset. And of course, you know, one hopes he recovers quickly, but as we know, World Cup is just a few months away, and players who have what seem to be a really difficult injury have that to think about as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually quite worrying, because I thought he'd done some ligaments for sure, but
the worry is that he played on, Dave. He got back up and he was trying to limp around.
That wouldn't have done any good at all. It really wouldn't have, because you could tell straight away, because he's facing his own goal. He's at full tilt. I mean, they've got him on the gas and air here, so it's a bad one. But he's running towards his own goal. It's a wicked ball in. He does really well to deal with it, but as he plants his left foot, all of his momentum is going forward, but his foot, because of the studs getting caught in the ground, it stays where it is, and the whole ankle twists round.
It's a horrible moment for Wataru Endo, and anyone who's done any kind of mischief to their ankle knows how painful these can be, but the medics are around him, and he's being helped onto the stretcher, and they're being very, very careful with him. Liverpool, who have got the goal that their dominance is probably warranted. Let me just update you with the other scores elsewhere, but some really interesting ones actually. So Manchester City have beaten Fulham 3-0 and have therefore moved to within 3 points of top spot in the Premier League. Aston Villa have beaten Brighton by 1-0. That was a late goal from Tyrone Mings. Crystal Palace were 2-0 up at home to Burnley and lost 3-2. Burnley's long wait for a win is over, and it finished Nottingham Forest 0, Wolves 0. So Forest have dropped 2 points at home to the bottom team in the Premier League. So the relegation battle at the moment: West Ham third bottom, 24 points. Forest fourth bottom, 27. Tottenham, who've sacked their manager Thomas Frank today, fifth bottom on 29. It's all getting very, very tight in that relegation battle. Burnley, despite their win tonight, are still 19th on 18 points, and Wolves, well, they are a massive 18 points adrift of safety. Wataru Endo is being stretchered off here, and he looks very, very upset. He's being sung off the pitch by the Liverpool travelling fans, and your heart goes out to him, and one could only hope that he makes a swift recovery that would still allow him to represent Japan at the World Cup finals in the summer. Joe Gomez, who knows all about injury problems, ready to come on, and he's a player, Dave Kitson, Joe Gomez, that you feel, I mean, he has had great success with Liverpool, he's won titles with them, but you feel him personally could have gone to the very top, maybe.
Yeah, it just sort of stagnated, didn't it, at sort of a real crucial part in his development, but handy player to have around, for sure.
Absolutely. Can cover multiple positions. 69th minute, Joe Gomez on for Wataru Endo, Sunderland corner. He'll come from the far side, the right. Good shape on that, headed away brilliantly by Van Dijk. I think he's been outstanding in the air for Liverpool tonight, and he's needed to be at times. Here is Siddiqui, diminutive, energetic midfielder. Diarra, who couldn't prevent that Van Dijk goal on the line, spreads the play. Down the right-hand side it goes, away by Ekitike. Again, Sunderland fans screaming for handball. And Liverpool looking to break, and Gakpo frustrated because that ball to him was not the best. It needed to be in front of him rather than behind him. 70th minute, still Liverpool leads by 1-0.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see what Sunderland do now. Haven't lost at home all season, but they're 20 minutes away from that happening unless they do something, and it's going to have to be something pretty special because they haven't looked very likely in this second half.
They are the comeback kings, Sunderland. They've claimed 16 points from losing positions. Only Aston Villa went into the midweek round of fixtures with a better record in that regard. But Liverpool have played well tonight so far. But here's Lefebvre out to that right-hand side, and Nordi Mukiele, low ball into the box, away by Gravenberch. It was behind Brobby. He wasn't happy with the quality of the cross there. Liverpool go long towards Ekitike. He's got Ballard for company. He'll just let the ball drift out to the left flank, and he'll take on Ballard. Twisting and turning Ekitike, but unable to find a way through. McAllister finding Salah, right corner of the penalty area. Mo Salah tries to curl it. What did that hit? Wow. And then Ekitike went for the loose ball and puts it over the crossbar. But Salah asking the question about whether his effort struck a hand.
It certainly did. It certainly did. And the arm is out as well.
Enzo Lefebvre it was. And I think Liverpool entitled to ask that question, because it seemed to me that Lefebvre's arm was out from his body, and you'd file that under the category of you've seen them given.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the shot's on its way, the arm's out, it's impeded the ball, but I don't know, I don't profess to understand it anymore, to be honest.
I have to say I'm quite shocked that that's not at least been recommended for review.
I am.
That could be a pivotal moment in the game. Here is Ballard in the centre circle for Sunderland. Mukiele finding Siddiqui. One of the benefits of having a back three is you can move those wide centre-backs forward, and we're seeing that happen more and more now with Mukiele on that right-hand side. Slid through towards Brobby in the area, tries to turn against Konate, and on the follow-up was Hume, and his shot was blocked. Brobby posing a threat back to Mukiele, low ball in, Van Dijk made a mess of it, got away with it, poor clearance. Here's Reynildo edge of the area, curling cross, and the header is over the top from Trey Hume. But Sunderland felt that maybe Brobby was fouled. Hume asking that question.
Yeah, I thought it was a decent tackle. I tell you what, the first sort of half of it, he's not got anything of the ball, Konate. The second bit, he does get something. But that's the ball I like played into Brobby. And I don't know why Sunderland don't do it more often. Because every time they play that ball directly into the striker, it's a 1-against-1. And he's so strong that he can turn and they can get players around him.
He's discomforted Konate a few times, actually, in the penalty area. But no penalty to Sunderland, and maybe both teams have had a little shout there for a penalty turned down in the last couple of minutes. 73rd minute here on Premier League Live. Konate fouled by Brobby. You get the sense there's a bit of mutual respect there between the two. It's been an almighty tussle.
Yeah, you'd have to say on the whole that was a really good bit of defending from Konate, because he was in trouble there for a second.
It's been a tough season for Ibrahima Konate. He's not found his best form. He was hit by family tragedy of late when he lost his father, and Liverpool did say to him he could have as much time as he needed to mourn his father's passing, but he came back early to help Liverpool out with the injuries that they had. Said that Liverpool have really closed ranks around him, acted like a family in his time of need. Liverpool preparing a substitution here, with Curtis Jones potentially coming on. Ball is with Virgil van Dijk, just shy of the centre circle. Can Liverpool see this through? So often they have dropped points from strong positions. 4 stoppage time winners, 2 stoppage time equalisers. Dropped 8 points in stoppage time alone in the Premier League this season. Wirtz has been shrugged off it by Lefay. 2 players of similar stature. Oh, that's given away really cheaply by Alderete to Ekitike, and his ball to Salah was poor. Salah able to just about keep it in, but then Alderete able to close the door, and Liverpool have let Sunderland off the hook massively there. It was a really poor error, and then Lefay wins the free kick from Florian Wirtz.
Well, I don't know which bit is worse, actually, because the ball from Alderete is a real dodgy one. It goes straight to Ekitike. Unfortunately for Sunderland, his ball is atrocious. He's asking so much of Salah, who keeps the ball in.
Cody Gakpo going off to be replaced by Curtis Jones. It's an interesting one. Just wonder if it means Jones comes into the middle to stiffen the midfield and they move Wirtz out to the left a bit, maybe.
Well, I think when you mentioned that Hume started to come inside, and that's brought the Liverpool attackers in narrow, and it's left a bit of space for the fullbacks to overlap. And they just want to guard against that, because Sunderland, actually, they haven't played much like I've seen them this season, but just in the last 10 minutes they've started to play and pass their way through the lines.
Quarter of an hour to go. Liverpool leading by 1-0 at the Stadium of Light against a Sunderland team that has the last remaining unbeaten home record in the English top division this season. Robertson goes to ground here, just down on his haunches.
Now they got trodden on just after he clears the ball. I think he just gets trodden on his toes.
Yeah, it's the right foot gets stamped on, not once but twice actually, just for good measure. Just wincing, the Scotland captain. Sunderland with the throw on the right hand side. Mukiele, nice turn, right foot shot. Oh, he had a rush of blood to the head. It's got over the crossbar. He had red and white shirts queuing up in the middle, and he went for goal himself.
Yeah, he just needed to drill that low and hard, but Liverpool have got away with one there because it's 2-on-1. They all switch off. They get done so easily, and that was not the first bit. It's brilliant, the little bit of skill to turn, but it's got to go across the goal. You've got to go across the goal low and hard.
Salah needed a ticket to get back into the stadium.
Yeah,
I mean, he ran so far past Mukiele there. Here's Ekitike down the right hand side. He's got Reynildo for company. Back to Joe Gomez. Liverpool trying to see this through. It would be a win that would certainly build confidence. Alisson into the feet of Curtis Jones, who's just come on. Jones, who has been with Liverpool since the age of 8. Liverpool through and through. Here's Ekitike down the left, in space. Ekitike with the low ball across, but that was poor, really. Nowhere near a teammate, and easily cleared by Alderete, and then Viet's trying to counter-press, gives away the free kick.
He's not been great, Ekitike, tonight, has he? He's not been himself. I mean, he's very, very capable. He takes up some great positions, makes up some great runs, but
didn't really draw the man there, did he? He just kind of played it aimlessly.
He's just not quite there tonight.
Liverpool with the goal, but haven't perhaps posed the same attacking threat in the second half as they did in the first.
Yeah, well, we haven't mentioned Wirtz really at all in the second half.
He's been starved of the ball, really, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And as you say, those tactical changes that Regis Lebris has made made it much more difficult for him. Here's Lefay in a big pocket of space. Slides it down the inside left channel, and Konate gets there ahead of Robbie. And now Liverpool do have space on the counter. Salah, square to Vietz, inside right channel. He's got runners ahead of him. He's gone the other way to Robertson. Robertson with an early ball. Ekitike with the header, and he's missed, just as he did against Manchester City. A far post header that goes wide of the target when really he should have scored. He might have been offside, it was tight, but he missed the target anyway, and we'll never know.
Oh, he's got to score. I mean, he has to score. Forget the offside. He has to score. It's on his head, 6 yards out, heads it down and wide.
It's exactly the same chance as Sunday.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I wonder whether that's played on his mind a little bit, because I've mentioned he's not really been at it tonight. He's just missing something from his game tonight, and there it is in a nutshell.
Sunderland are readying some changes here. It looks like 3 changes potentially. Chemsdeen Talbi, who scored an equaliser against Liverpool at Anfield. Lucharo Hetrauda, who nearly joined Liverpool on deadline day, and Romain Mundle. They're all going to come on. Hetrauda, I suspect, coming on for Hume. Mundle will come on for Angulo. Talbi is going to come on as well. Talbi, who may be a bit unfortunate not to be in the starting lineup given the form he's shown. And one of the players coming off is Alderete, so they're going to go for it. They could just move Reinildo into the back 3 and put Talbi down the left potentially. I'll let Dave work that out for you.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking this is going to go one of only 2 ways. They're going to get countered on, or they're somehow going to nick something right at the death. It's set up very nicely this last 10 minutes or so.
Could be a big 10 minutes in both of these club seasons. Excellent header clear by Van Dijk, who has been pretty much flawless defensively and has scored the goal for the Reds. Alisson able to come out and collect the low ball just inside the penalty area. 10 minutes of normal time to go. 26 of Sunderland's 36 points have been claimed in this stadium. They have scored in all but 1 of their Premier League home games this season. But we're in the 81st minute and they haven't scored yet. Reinildo wide on the left, back to Hetrauda. Hetrauda, who does have versatility, can play centre-back, can play right-back, can play in midfield. He seems to have dropped in at centre-back here for Sunderland. Yeah, Liverpool did explore the possibility of reuniting Hetrauda with Arne Slot on deadline day, but Sunderland didn't have time to get a replacement. He is on loan from RB Leipzig. Here is Mundle. Former Spurs youngster, Romain Mundle, just 22, and here he is again, moving into space in the central area. It was a good burst there. He's found Reinildo, left corner of the area. Reinildo with a good ball. Mundle in the penalty area, and Gomez able to take it from him. And then Salah helps out defensively, and Joe Gomez will smash it out of the right-back zone up towards Ekitike as the ball just jabbed away from him at the final moment. Throw to Liverpool on the near side, the right.
And it's good from Mundle, really, really good. No fear, taking the game to Liverpool, but just at the crucial moment where he should just drop his shoulder and smash it across with his left, he wants to come back on his right, and everybody's expecting that to happen, and the chance gets snuffed out. But it's good positive play.
Joe Gomez taking his time over the throw. I think we will get a fair bit of stoppage time, of course, because of the injury to Wataru Endo, who was sadly stretchered off earlier in the half. Hence the fact that Joe Gomez came on at right back for Liverpool. Here's Ed Trowder being pressed by Curtis Jones, back to his goalkeeper Roofs, who goes long. Ball skips away from Diarra. It's going to be a nail-biting end to the game in the northeast of England. Scores elsewhere: Villa have beaten Brighton 1-0, Manchester City 3, Fulham 0, Forest 0, Wolves 0, and an incredible comeback win for Burnley, who were 2-0 down at Crystal Palace and came back to win 3-2. All of those goals came in the first half. Sunderland urging their team on. Phenomenal job they've done since coming into the Premier League. Went up via the Championship playoffs last season, beat Sheffield United in the final at Wembley, courtesy of a 95th minute winner. Ended an 8-year absence from the top division. Here's Mundle, tight to the left touchline, the near side as we look at it for Sunderland. Diarra back to Ed Trowder, the wind whipping the back of his shirt. Infield to Siddiqui. Now the space for Ballard. Liverpool trying to stay in their shape. This is where Liverpool time and time again have been found wanting. Closing stages of games. Mundle, low ball to the edge of the area, looking for Lefay. Now it's with Siddiqui in the centre circle. Lefay tight to the left touchline. Salah moves across. Salah looking tired, actually. Reverse ball is a good one to find Brobby under pressure from Van Dijk, who shepherded him out of the area. Mundle though, Reynaldo in the box. Back out to Mundle. Mundle's right-footed cross, that's deflected. And it'll be swept away by Curtis Jones. Remember, Liverpool were 1-0 up against Manchester City in the 84th minute. On Sunday, Manchester City came back to win 2-1. It is the 84th minute now. Liverpool 1-0 up. Will lightning strike twice? Siddiqui in midfield, finding Ed Trowder. Ed Trowder into the feet of Reynaldo. Turns infield sharply. Back out to Ed Trowder, inside left channel. Low ball into the box is a poor one. He was looking for Lefay, but it was wide of him, and Alisson is able to sweep up.
Yeah, it's good from Sunderland, but Liverpool, I don't, I'm hearing this rhetoric from Slot, but at the same time they're just inviting teams onto them. They're just inviting all of this pressure from Sunderland to do this to them for the last 10 minutes.
It's a dangerous game to play. It's a dangerous game that Liverpool aren't often very good at. Ballard brings it out from the back for Sunderland. The grandstand finale approaches at the Stadium of Light. Liverpool heading towards a result that no other visiting team has managed in the Premier League this season. And here's Ed Trowder. Sunderland staying patient, waiting for the right moment. Liverpool fans trying to sing their team home with the fields of Anfield Road. Here is Ballard, nice little reverse pass. Liverpool not putting pressure on the ball at all, just trying to keep their shape. Will that be the right method? We will see. Diarra down the right-hand side, space for Mukiele. High ball into the box, Alisson comes. Alisson gets. It was too easy for the Brazilian.
That is exactly what it was. It was too easy, it's too floaty, it's too close to the keeper.
Van Dijk back to Alisson, who takes the touch, rolls it out to Gomez, right back zone, down the line, looking for Salah. Salah was beaten to it by Reynaldo, and Sunderland still have it. And then Ekitike, not for the first time tonight, with a needless free kick given away, just bumped Lefay. And Liverpool are going to bring on Federico Chiesa, his hair plastered to his head already by the rain, just trying to keep himself warm. Here is Mundle down the left for Sunderland. My suspicion is that Chiesa will come on for Salah, but we'll see. As we said, Wirtz has faded a little in the second half. Gomez back to his goalkeeper, Alisson, who drives it long into Salah. Salah manages to jab it into the centre circle for Jones. And now Ekitike down the inside left channel to the corner of the penalty area. Onto his right foot, Jones. Curtis Jones, Wirtz in the box. Back to Jones, and the shot is over the top from Curtis Jones. Big chance for Liverpool. He was just trying to bend it into the top corner. And Reeves happy to see that ball whistle over the top.
It is amazing. I mean, it's just you put on a training match that goes in the net every single time. But it's amazing to me how many times these players miss a chance from 8-10 yards over the bar. It's just can't wrap my head around it. I don't know whether it's a rush of blood, the excitement of the game, but I see it time and time again.
Ekitike is the man coming off. I'm a little surprised by that, I have to say. It's Chiesa who'll replace him. And he rarely starts for Liverpool, just one Premier League start all season, but he's come on as a sub now in the top flight this term 18 times. He would love more minutes, not least because he wants to be part of Italy's bid to qualify for the World Cup. They are not yet safe. They're in the playoffs next month. Here's Gravenberch for Liverpool. 88th minute, and now the 89th. Liverpool inching towards what would be a precious win. McAllister. Curtis Jones midway inside the Sunderland half. What more have Sunderland got in the tank? Chiesa out wide on the left. Salah's moved into the middle for Liverpool here with Chiesa left wing. He's into the box, the Italian. Jones plays it out to the left. Liverpool playing keep ball here, and that's sensible as they just look to take time off the clock. Something they did really well at times in their title-winning season last term, but they have had a real fragility about them this season. Arne Slot in his big padded coat, absolutely soaked. At least he hasn't got any hair to get wet. Won't catch a chill in that way. Headed by Reinildo towards Gravenberch, and the piece is picked up by Gomez, who was looking for Wirtz, and he's trying to charge through the middle. Joe Gomez, a player who has never scored a senior goal. It's his 298th game for club and country. He's never scored. Here's Curtis Jones on the turn in the centre circle for Liverpool, who've had a good couple of minutes here. 90th minute. Wirtz not strong enough there in the centre circle. Sunderland win it back, and here's Lefay. He's giving it away for Sunderland to Robertson. Sunderland struggling to get momentum here. But how much stoppage time will there be? Jones into the feet of Wirtz. Liverpool making Sunderland chase shadows here. Van Dijk forward to Gravenberch. Dutchman to Dutchman. Plays it to McAllister in a tight space, and McAllister has lost it really cheaply. And now Sunderland can look to break. This is the danger time for Liverpool. Stoppage time, where they've conceded so many costly goals. 7 minutes of added time. And that has set the home fans roaring. Head Schrouder, just in front of the centre circle. Curls it out to the far side, and Talby. Talby's right-footed cross. Boom to the far post. That's really clever from Joe Gomez. He just nodded it back to his goalkeeper, Alisson. That was superb.
That's brilliant from Gomez. I honestly didn't think he was going to do that. That's brave at this, because it's on the angle as well. It's quite a difficult header.
I hope this doesn't age me and Dave too much, but we'll remember the own goals and gaffes DVDs, well, VHSs maybe, that the comedian Danny Baker used to do in England. And so many of them start in that kind of scenario.
Yeah.
Defenders facing their own goal. But Joe Gomez got that one spot on. Dave's going to tell me he's too young to know what I'm talking about here.
Well, I noticed the Sunderland fans chucking beach balls onto the pitch earlier, and I was remembering back to that 2009 Darren Bent goal. They could do with that now.
Mundell's low ball into the box, and McAllister hit Gravenberch with the clearance. Mundell's picked up the pieces, left edge of the area, and he's gone past a couple of challenges, goes down. Chris Cavanagh's not interested in that. Felt he was trying to sell something that Chris Kavanagh wasn't buying there. It was a tricky run by Mundle.
Yeah, he's got very, very good feet. Nice tight control. I mean, McAllister doesn't even go. It's really poor. I think we've seen that a few times.
Sunderland are going to make another change here. Wilson Isidore comes on. He's got 4 Premier League goals this season. Most of them at the start of the season, really. He was outstanding early on, but he's lost his place to Brian Brobby. But he has been thrown on. Here Trouders cross from the left-hand side. Ballard with the flick on. That goes behind for a Liverpool goal kick. Just couldn't pivot and get the shot on target.
Yeah, Liverpool going to take an age with this goal kick. And Sunderland might get one more chance. I'm quite surprised Isidore's come on really late for me.
There's Isidore and Brobby up front now. Talby down the right-hand side. He's looking for Mukiele. Mukiele can't get there. Very calm play by Robertson to get there ahead of him, and now Chiesa in a tight space in his own half. That was gorgeous from Curtis Jones. Wow. He's in a really difficult position, some nifty footwork. But here comes Sunderland down the left-hand side. They've lost it to Jones. Liverpool off to the races here with Salah. Moves in fields. Twelson had a bit too long, but Renildo unable to win it. Vietz has found Jones. Edge of the area, he'll slow it down. McAllister back to Jones, and Liverpool start again, deciding that it was better to keep it rather than go for goal. And Curtis Jones with another really nice piece of footwork to win the free kick from Isidore.
Yeah, it was good from Curtis Jones, good from Chiesa as well. They've been good pair of them since they've come on, done exactly what Arne Slot would have wanted. Just keep the ball for us, nice and simple, eat some time up.
4th minute of stoppage time. We'll have a minimum of 7. Most of that taken up by the injury to Wataru Endo. Best wishes to him. What looked like a nasty injury was stretchered off. Long by Alisson towards Salah. Salah trying to get away from Ronaldo, and he has. And Mo Salah, in trying to come in on his left foot, hit Herr Trauder, and the ball could have ricocheted in. As it is, it goes wide for a corner.
Oh, just a long ball from Alisson. It's clever from Salah because he blocks off the run as well. Ronaldo tries to cut back inside. Trauder gets a toe in, and it's got Roofs scrambling. But more importantly, it's got Liverpool at the corner.
I've seen a bit more of Mo Salah through the middle in the last few weeks, actually. Liverpool have been doing that more and more, and I wonder if that might be the way to go, because he's not having that threat from out wide that he usually has. Liverpool have gone short with the corner as they look to see this out. They've dropped 8 points in stoppage time this season. No Liverpool fans won't thank me for reminding them, but it bears repeating. Chiesa down the left here, being tracked by Brobby towards the corner flag. He'll take his time. He's dispossessed by Mukiele, and now Ballard has it on the edge of his own area for Sunderland. Long way to go for them to get to the other end, and they're having to play very well just to beat the Liverpool press. And Roofs with a great turn against Jones, and then he nearly lost it. The clearance half charged down, but Liverpool haven't been able to stop Sunderland getting out here. But then an excellent challenge by McAllister on halfway. Throw into Sunderland.
Well, Sunderland is so typical. Just when you're trying to get the ball up the other end, you're getting closed down all over the place. You can't find a pass. You just wonder whether they're going to... I mean, they've got a minute and a half here. They've got players hobbling all over the place. They're on the halfway line with a throw-in.
It's with Roofs, who's waving players forwards, just in front of his own area. Big, long kick, left-footed. Konate with a towering header. Fantastic from him. Chiesa looking for Salah over the top. That's the Liverpool play. But here is Lefay trying to win it in midfield. The ball spins to Robertson. He finds Vietz, back out to Robertson. Liverpool a minute away here, potentially, from being the first visiting team to beat Sunderland in the league. Jones forward to Salah, and his right-footed volley goes just wide of the far post, a matter of inches in it, and Sunderland live to fight another day.
Oh, great football, great football. Robertson into Jones, out to Salah, snapshot with the right. I thought it was going to nestle in that corner.
Might be the last chance for Sunderland. Again, Van Dijk wins the header. How many times have we said that today? And then Chiesa felt he was fouled, but
It's gone the other way. This is going to be it. Everyone's going to get up there now. Roofs will take this.
25 seconds. Roofs is going to take it all in orange. Mud all over his goalkeeping kit. They've sent everybody forward, Sunderland. One more test for Liverpool to pass. One more chance for the Black Cats of Sunderland. It's in the box. Van Dijk goes down. He was fouled, and that might be that. Dan Ballard furious, but Chris Kavanagh has given Liverpool a free kick, and they might just have done it. What a win this would be. There weren't many that gave them a chance of winning this game, with Sunderland so strong at home. It is all over, and Liverpool have done what no other visiting team have done to Sunderland in the Premier League this season. They have won at the Stadium of Light. One goal won it just past the hour. Virgil van Dijk with it. Sunderland huffed and puffed, couldn't find a leveller, and Liverpool with one of their best performances of the season, and one that sees them move to within 2 points of Chelsea and 3 points of Manchester United in the race for Champions League football. It finishes Sunderland 0, Liverpool 1 on Premier League Live.
TalkSport Podcast League. Outspoken, the best of White and Jordan.
Radio Sharpest.